I wrote paranoia instead of parasite. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We need beats to lock in, chat. Yes, because I'm an African American. I have the basketball spirit. The soul does not arouse without grooves to jam to. Because they claim every single goddamn thing on Twitter and on YouTube. Can't have music in my background for shit. Don't want to be silent and fuck. I don't like it. I don't like it. Annoying as fuck. Hilarious shit. What gives me more light? Let's find out. Oh no, not more furry shit. Yes, more furry shit. So, light from the back window. Not a damn thing. Light from the overhead. That's unfair. Oh, both. Yep. Gotta have overhead light to have 720p, Carl. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, hate it, I hate it, I hate it, hate it, I hate it, I hate it, hate it, hate it, I hate it, hate it, I hate it. This kind unless it's fizzing. Anywho, wake up, motherfuckers! I got some more coffee for you, cup. How we doing? How you feeling? For anybody, because technically I've been using the chair for a bit now. For anybody who is wondering why Tyrone has been devalued to a fold-out chair, it is because the frame of that $100 chair that we bought before is beginning to lean and move and sway like its metal is going to break. So, now on, in perpetuity and future, I need to replace a chair. It is not going to be over $100, but I'm probably not going to get anything over $50 either. I will get simple shit like a metal fold-out chair or a lounger chair. I don't even know if we have one because I don't know where we put it. But a lounger outside festivity chair, the kind you put at a concert. I mean, sure, but the chair before that one lasted a lot longer. And that one was just a fucking wireframe office chair with cheap metal framework and a very not great welding job. I believe it was somebody else who had described it before accurately. It's not truly a chair, it's more like a car seat that's been installed on the framework of what looks like the office wielding roll around its other chair. Yeah, if I go outside, if I go into the other room and I look at it as I was grabbing this broom, unlike an office chair that has the legs supporting on all sides with enough weight to distribute and carry it for the kind of shit you do for an office call, the actual distribution of the weight is lifted and weighted way too far forward on the front of the chair. So if this was the arm and my leg represents the 5-point rather than the 6-point positions of the office chair, it leans to the front and slopes down. And over time, naturally sitting on it in a position like I did, either because of the fault of that design, in my opinion, or more than likely, me being more heavy than I was before, but definitely losing more weight now as I've been doing more and more exercise, both in and outside the home. It is naturally just worn down over time. Now, these are not very good quality chairs. Let's be serious. They are not good quality chairs. They're being bought for cheap and for weak off of Amazon. But we got a year and 3 months out of that particular purchase, which for me I would say is good, but $100 investment or anything close to 100 plus not lasting at least 5 annoys me. I address it here now because there will be people who will ask. And so in case anybody asks in the future, that is the explanation, that is the reason. You must remember, chat, Tyrone is not the chair. She is the weight that holds my ass. Our chair daughter now lives on inside this metal framework and the cushions from the chair. 'Cause I'm gonna tell you what, the chair itself might break apart. These fucking lower lumbar and a lot of back cushion shits, especially this one, because it's just big enough that it wraps around the bottom, and then let's pull for the back. Yes, sir. So we shall lift the metal framework of Tyrone's frame into the sky, She and her form will live on the hearts, but it is what it is. I'm not acting like I don't know that. I know that I was fat. Regardless, is what it is. You think I treated that chair roughly, you should have seen what I did to the last one. I have still not managed to get that chair wheel reaffixed the way that I needed to, which is half the reason why it is in the other room. Because since I have caught it within time, I can actually correct and fix the metal so that it's fixable and applicable as a normal chair for the other room. Well, or to simply move the conversation forward, the weight of the chair is affixed towards the front 45-degree angle. If the chair is sitting like this on the chair, at a normal 90-degree angle for anything else, and this one curves up and downwards to the front, as it does, there's nothing I can do about it naturally beginning to bend forward more. Because the way that I sit in the chair was leaning forward, bending forward, sitting on my leg, and that causing me a lot of actual constriction towards circulation. I know how I sat in the chair. Give me an explanation for why the chair's not here. Two things can be true, and while I didn't disagree, moving on. In the future, should I need to buy another chair or replace it, it's gonna be simple lawn chairs. Possibly with empty butt bottom. But moving on from that, yes, furry shit. But furry shit comes after the gaming shit. There was a lot of news that happened over last week and this week, towards the middle, after about Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, we're gonna get into those things before we get into everything else. And of course, ironically enough, some smaller coverage that I think I probably either skipped or did not see, because it came to pass that there were people who finally harassed the volunteer program that Mama Max was a part of to get him removed from that program. The Redditors basically got what they wanted, and in the midst of that, Spencer of all people basically is now out on her shit again, looking for somebody else to keep her alive and going. The cult of Camden Gerard Davis strikes again, keeping a white woman down. Whatever will she do? Hello. Oh, right. Remember, chat, always make sure to clean and keep your room as best as you can. Just because we like to roll around in the dirty mud of the piggy, like dirty piggies on content, does not mean you gotta live in a pigsty. And that's the Carl truth. Speaking more on Carl truth, let's dive right into some of these truths with the content for today. And if you have a news story or topic that you want to see on Carl at Home, make sure to post that shit directly into the Discord. Consider becoming Carlist, consider becoming a member. Put on your do-rag and join in so that you can be able to have fun with us in the server, both during content and on days for versus chats, as well as days for where'd my music go? There it is. As well as days for other content. To feature some, I will show you some of the fucking caps that came from our wins. For example, last night we played a session amongst many of a Drawful 2 new game that I picked up to show people. And in this game, as with many others that will be played on CCM, or rather be played during community group gaming, you can be able to make art. So JD. Basically, it is like a game of visual charades. Pictionary plus visual charades. But you can have the ability to trick people into giving you points based on whether or not you can make a title that's more convincing than the actual title. There are actually many of these, because every game saved actually copies and saves all the pictures. All of these pictures have been amassed and collected into, and will be amassed and collected into, a Twitter file, or into a Twitter link, that will then be posted as a quote to the originating link for the streams, and then that will be sourced into the server in the section listed as Community Group Gaming. Because I did do a small little redesign earlier today. Let's put it on the screen real quick to show you what it looks like. Inside the server, as most of you should be aware of how it looks like this. Some of these things you won't see because they are permission based, but inside of Caucasus Colored Memes, we now have a movie night section that is going to be listed as a stage rather than as a normal chat room. This makes it so that we can actually have better microphone control during movie nights, as well as making it so that everybody knows when the event is live, as well as being able to call things out and request shit while happening. Pretty much not much will really change. This will make it so that we can have a mic check beforehand. I have changed the name of CCM1 and CCM2 into Caucasus Colored Memes chat and Community Group Gaming chat. These will be the normal types of voice chats that will be used for each one. Right now, if you were to look here on CCM, you can see that in the top left corner of the screen, this is connected to the Discord stream kit. That just makes it so that when we're inside this channel, we know who's talking when and where while that is live, which also includes my thing when it blows up. That will be moved around and changed at leisure, but other than that, those are the only two real big changes. Because for those that are at these levels between the Afro Parlor, as well as Caucasus Colored Memes and Gamers, these are the parts of the server that you're probably going to be interacting with the most. So, inside of Community Group Gaming, as well as it being a section for movie nights, this is where those links for those recaps of what we do when playing those will go. As you can see here, I put the link for the Drawful 2 Aftermath pictures. I try to take pictures of the gameplay while we're playing it, and I will consider moving these to be streamed on YouTube and Twitch so that we can get better clips, because I do not like the format of using it with YouTube and Twitter versus YouTube and Twitch, because Twitter doesn't let you clip shit. However, I just need to stop being a broke boy and just earn more money. I need to earn more money so that I can be able to have my 5 string links and 5 string sources out again, so that I can be able to stream from all 4, total 5 of those websites if I can ever get TikTok to fucking work correctly, to have multiple places for people to watch. That always requires me having $20 more than I actually do, and honestly, with having a kid, $20 is a lot. Bro, $20 buys so much shit for him. So, it is what it is. But this is where you can find those things for Community Group Gaming. It is also where I'm going to be pushing the aftermath or the clips of what comes from it. Those clips will start appearing as a part of content and will start appearing in properly edited videos as a way to promote both the streams as well as the server. So, if you ever want to be able to have a hand and have an involvement and how to be able to source things to the content, the way to do so, when you have been in the audience and have leveled up to have the permissions, is you want to either make a post here in Printing Press Express. If you become a donator, if you become a Carlist and join the Negrohood, you can be able to post directly into podcast ideas, and for anything else, you can be able to post it into gaming, body politic, or non-podcasting chat, as well as making a breakdown printing press express thread, much like how the Chris Chan footage that we will be looking at today came from suggestion from member Solace Indigo, as well as many other things coming from others. If you ever want to be able to have your hand to support the content and keep Carl entertained and satisfied, that is the means in which you can do it. It is free. You do not need to be subscribed in order to become a member of the Discord. And of course, that also gives you other permissions, such as being able to request me to do videos for money, as well as requests for money. Because boy, do I need to earn cash. So, if you want to torture me by making me look into certain content that I otherwise probably would have either missed on my radar, or that you want to see a video breakdown of, this is how you do it, there's your chance. That's me putting it out there. Hashtag ad. Let me clean off my desk and we can begin. Gotta remember, chat, you can't just move into the neighborhood, you gotta be a good neighbor. Because it is indeed a beautiful day in my neighborhood. It is a beautiful day to be a nigga. Could you be mine? Could you be mine? Can you let a neighbor hold $20? Joking. Joking. Anyways. Pills. I still have more pills. Slowly working my way through the road of pills. I'm not a fan of becoming a black discaf counterpart of Mr. Medicare. I hate being sick. I hate not having access to my full range of speaking. What it is. In unrelated news, before we get into the news, how is everybody today doing on this good Monday morning / evening? In 7 days, the new release of Once Humans servers will be out. Around about then, the rest of the Carl Bomb, most of it should be gaming content, will be slow dripping its way out within the next 7 days. Look up and look forward to that. There will be content for Once Human. There will be content for the First Descendant. And there will be videos and reactions. And because my voice is still recovering, the ones that happen to be on video topics and subjects that I've been working on over time, such as the one that was inspired by Brianna the Womannequin, that one is going to take slightly longer because if I can't speak, I can't make a video. So, there's that. Either way. Gotta stretch my legs. You're doing Gucci? That's good. Alright. Let us begin with a recap. Last time on Power Rangers Time Force, we covered on one of the weeks of Carl at Home the footage and coverage of Black Myth Wukong getting hit-pieced by Rebecca Valentine, and then a follow-up to show that a hit-piece, a secondary hit-piece, had been produced and made through Screen Rant. This hit-piece has now disseminated itself throughout the space, and alongside the news that came from the gaming rag Second Wind, following the departure of the other Frost and others that would leave the service of that rag, this news has made its way around the internet, and boy, these guys are not happy about that. Not happy whatsoever at all. So let us now, Lord have mercy, let us now enter into and witness that cycle of cap and cope. Since I find that proper backing track. First video comes from friend of the channel, Sayal. Ironically, a person who I do interact with and see frequently on Twitter. There are other people who've been covering it as well. But today, we shall be making use of his. Sagil, take it away.
Ransom RDEI splendid, anything normal, she, her offended. It puts the woke inside the game, or else it gets bad reviews again. Pronoun enforced cultural decay, Bel Air, till you get your way. Feminist meltdown at GDC said, what about me and my HRT? Entitled and pretension unrivaled. Brace your pum pum for Kyle's arrival. Woke racketeering on mistranslation. No feminism gamer celebration. Alphabet mob thanks IG and Rebecca. Woke won't stop until kids chop off their peckers. You'll have to gay it up. I'm hard of queering. Top wish list beta testers cheering. Nobody likes you. That's my confession, since Hogwarts didn't teach you a lesson. Instead of you, they down with CCCP. Heal, brother. Damaged emotionally. Race swap, retcon, fat identity.
Not bad. That's not a bad rap.
Entity, same-sex kiss for sensitivity. Divide mudslinger, everything's tribal. Journos crying, gaming revival.
Not bad.
Hello, beta testers. Well, if it isn't you assholes. Like and subscribe, beta tester, to instantly be the bigger person around here. Because what you're really subscribing to are facts. You're subscribing to Kyle, a man, not a brand. I'm gonna step over the cold corpse of multiple dumbass know-nothings in the gaming industry desperately willing to debunk information with no proof to address how inevitable the Wukong outrage from perpetually triggered who apparently equate not being able to talk about feminism in their video game review to censorship of the highest order. A reminder.
Well, yeah, if you really think about it, criticism and fair treatment feels like oppression. So they're not used to it. They're used to doing it to people. They're not used to it being done unto them. Because it's not supposed to happen to them. They have the good opinions. They have the good opinions and the good penis. They're good people. They don't do nothing to nobody. They don't do nothing to nobody. Nobody want to do nothing to them, but they don't do nothing to nobody. How could you abuse them like this? This is not fair. It's all bad stuff. Only chuds criticize like this. Only chuds abuse us like this. And other such dumbass arguments they make.
Beta tester, the racketeering you've witnessed from the woke cult of activists.
We got some Ridge Racer in there.
Journalists starting.
Yes, sir, Ridge Racer.
Rebecca Valentine incorrectly translating and conflating irrelevant, harmless remarks to sexism. Something channels like mine, Asmongold, and recently even Chinese channels, signal boosted by grooms, attest to. But you already knew it to be an exaggeration because for months I told you how Hogwarts Legacy this was going to get. I had the awareness to warn them, understanding that they'd be forced to rage and stupid bait to get anybody interested in their raggedy newspaper of a publication, that if they pushed too hard in the review bombing category, that it would backfire. Something that I do believe that IGN understood. Cue Screen Rants, Samar, Abudai. Forgive me, I can't help myself.
That was dirty. But I accept it. That was funny. That was dirty, but that was funny.
My favorite white YouTubers always make a unfunny bit out of mispronouncing somebody's name because the joke is that they're different. And if you think I'm joking, remember what I just said. How everybody seems to always need to make a bit out of mispronouncing somebody's word. Imagine if that bothered you and how often you're going to realize that it happens from now on. But the joke to them is that they're different. It's like hilarious in a way, but their cheek is harmless. Screen Rant writer Samara, with barely any game reviews to she/her's name, might I add, fully intended with her racist ass to impose her backwater yokel fucking interpretation of surface level college brochure diversity that she was mad wasn't injected into the goddamn mythical monkey game, you know what I'm saying? Because she looks at things and all she can do is inject herself, see herself. Ooh, would you?
Well, you gotta inject yourself into the work when you're debasing yourself and everything that you do based on that work. If she doesn't see herself in the content, that's the highest crime. That's the highest crime, period. That's why half of them do it. They don't have personalities. Their personality is the games they consume. When we looked at basically the fucking presser on the harassed individual that was a part of Screen Rant, it said that they were a fan of games, but the games that they were fans of was basically passing shit with absolutely no remark of how it's supposed to be, you know, really meaningful. But then, when you get down to brass tacks, what they mean to say is they like the games, but they don't like the people that play the games. So they'll talk about the games, but they don't actually play the games with other people. Never in that way, never in that regard, because that's the opposite of what they want. They don't really want to play the games with you. They want you to notice them playing the games and you give them attention for writing articles about them, which is no way near even the same thing.
What political message? Yeah. Jesus Lord, what a Disney. As it turns out, after she published the dog shit take that we all celebrate her right to be able to put out there and waste our time with, people uncovered that she worked for a similar sensitivity consultancy as Sweet Baby Inc. that's pushing that DEI bullshit called Splendid. Exactly the kind of polarizing, lazy, race and gender swap garbage that's killed countless disingenuous properties operating under the assumption that maybe if we make all the characters black, fat, ugly, pierced nose, fucked up haircut, mental issues, maybe the IP that we're forced to attach it to will draw the audience, something they already understand that they have to do because nobody's interested. So, of course, after dropping their turd, the entity has their name scrubbed from the article, and the LinkedIn is memory hold as if the damage on behalf of the racket fully supporting her hasn't already been done.
Yup. And in my opinion, this is the exact problem I had with it. If she can have all the time in the world to say the shit, why can't we have the ability to talk about the fact she said the shit in the first place? Why should she be allowed to hide her hand and act like she has no accountability and she has no involvement in the shit that she's doing when she was more than happy to do it as long as she was able to get money and clout and relevancy for doing so? Why is that why that works? Shouldn't be, but that's how that works in their mind. Shouldn't, but that's how it works.
It's done to yourself. You stepped on another rake when we all said, hey, they're all around you, Sideshow. Don't step on them damn rakes. And you said, nobody tells me what to... Ow! Whoa, why are you doing this to me? Ow, the patriarchy! Out of the kindness of my heart, I leaned across the aisle in my devotion to the truth, with my awareness of how to track because of the haters up my ass, but you didn't really fucking listen as usual, you know what I mean? I did the same thing with Hogwarts. The way that you were choosing to be is what's making people despise you profoundly enough to make this, I'm just gonna do it because it seems to piss these people off. You're presenting yourself for the teabag, if you will. To coin gaming vernacular, if you understand the reference. You ever heard of teabagging before? You know, you ever heard of a game called Halo? It's dead now. I mean, these are, you know, I'm so old. Damn. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Is there a Has-Been Hotel reference, a Steven Universe thing that would kind of, somebody write it in the comment section for me. I'm out of touch. I can't reach these people on their fucking terms. Following recent developments, righteousness is kind of what's going to have people feeling like they're just giving the studio a break in the midst of all of the Hogwarts boycott stuff that they have to do with anything. Because if they can't brainwash everybody with every kind of media, then it's not good, and it should be rated poorly. Because how dare they not bow down to kiss the ring pops that you hope will normally attract kids so you can brainwash them into chap, am I right? Gamers already catapulted Wukong to the top of Steam's wish list, not just because it looked good, but because y'all want to talk about bugs, but everybody already knows no matter what issues it has, it's not going to be worse than Cyberpunk's, which you rated higher. IGN's Rebecca was so ass-blasted and obnoxious, the entity genuinely believed she herself entitled to a response to allegations they made up over a mistranslation of another language? Hilarious in an industry of sweet baby ink games like Spider-Man 2, where developers like Brian Intihar consider themselves able to rewrite another culture's language because they're on the right side of history, pushing for their new normal for a modern audience, or whatever their cult calls self-inserting.
I call it Western imperialism, but you know, don't take my word for it. Just look into the shit. He even has the image on screen. Good job.
Give them
yes,
what
sir.
You know they want, so you can inject it, right?
Give people stuff.
Yes. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes. Front and center.
You know they want, so you can inject things that maybe they aren't familiar with, or maybe they don't know they want, but make them like that stuff.
Right. Seeing yourself. To these clowns, half of which suck SBI and some of which are currently working on Cuck Panther, desperately need you to believe their new definition of racism. How amusing that Paul Tassi of Forbes, who they'll believe when Destiny Boy couldn't have less credibility among any gamer paying attention. I'm not demanding you believe me, but homie believes that 400,000 people interested in DEI detected? Nah, that's useless information. Homie believes that a swimsuit equals nudity because, again, First Descendant is not queer enough for him, and therefore it is not valid. Wasn't this the guy going to bat for the asshole violating NDA because he thinks 20,000 people playing a video game makes it news? So 20,000 is news, but 90,000 signing a petition for, censorship, which y'all suddenly give a motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? Suck my balls. Hogwarts Legacy, Stellar Blade, First Descendant, and especially the discrepancy between industry coverage of eye-roll-worthy dog shit like Concord versus a game millions are interested in like Mecha Break is telling because of the hypocrisy that we keep trying to, show people, and then y'all show them instead of us, and we go, damn, mother, we throw our hands up like, damn, nigga, you know what I'm saying? You doing it for us? Okay, bitch, damn. We don't even, you took our gerb, they took our gerb. Forgive me for not caring as much about the opinions of losers that got the please talk to me energy just seeping out their butthole, addicted to likes, pressing the pay Elon and pay J.K. Rowling button every goddamn day, boy. As long as they get those likes, those scritches, you know what I'm saying? Path of Exile 2, Black Myth Wukong, Hogwarts Legacy 2.
Oh, he's Path of Exile player?
Break, Project Mugen.
That's crazy.
Descendant. For a while, probably Marvel Rivals, whatever MiHoYo game is going to be slipping right on to people. Inzoi. And maybe for some reason, Fortnite gets competition enough to kick it into gear, make some dedicated deathmatch modes or some shit like that. I could endlessly name games, none of which are the types that the woke cult would want to discuss because growth does not benefit them. They fat enough, shit. In fact, incorporating the kinds of things that other games would demand mods before being able to achieve if you were to subscribe to the ideology of certain trans journalists who have very strict and politically charged beliefs on how you should be able to mod women, and if they think they're too pretty, then you should not be able to do that. The difference between experiences that demand people's money and time will boil down to a question as simple as which one serves, which harmless outlet that people deserve serves. The difference is between Lord of the Rings and Rings of Power. The difference is between what people actually want and what you're trying to force this mythical modern audience to tolerate, and because that will challenge their standard and then they'll change. Jesus Christ. People hate your lazy pandering no matter how hard you try to call it diverse and spin it, because just because you imply that everybody's a bigot because they don't like it, or everybody's hostile, nigga. Scared of what a real woman looks like. See, you were better when you were a woman, they say to the Doctor in Doctor Who. But they wouldn't say that to the stunning and brave black and gay doctor, who really need to remind you of the significance of a black and gay doctor. His doctor's gonna beat his enemies with twerking. No, he really says that. So in between drag race people being on the show and an apathetic audience leading to the show receiving its lowest ratings in 60 years, I'm sure something else is the reason. You know what I mean? Not all this forced identity politics bullshit that's losing everybody motherfucking millions. You know what I mean? So if you made it this far, like the video, thank you for being on this journey and pushing and educating and informing. Beta tester, we and China right now are having a Legolas Gimli moment. I will be buying this game, if only as a middle finger to the types of people who think they have control over everything. I guess I'll see when I play it tonight. And you're free to join me, man, with my old PlayStation. Links in the description. Special thanks to the patrons and sponsors. I can't get enough of you big titty beta testers, so stay out of trouble.
Man, I wish I had better fucking sharing defense. I'm getting my ass ripped apart. Yep, that's more or less the overview of the situation. But let's dig into the meat and potatoes. The real problem with gaming media: deadlock and access journalism. Have that per echelon.
This video is brought to you by Incognito. Stick around to hear more about the special offer they're providing to the entire Upper Echelon community. Alright, today I want to talk about a problem, and apparently I want to get myself roasted, because this is probably not going to be a take that the bulk of my audience appreciates. Maybe I'm wrong about that, possibly. I really don't think so, and I'm mostly expecting that the like-dislike ratio is going to be pretty excruciating. Still, regardless of what people say on the internet, my sole purpose on this platform isn't to just pseudo-surf the tides of public sentiment, so I'll just kick it right off here. Access journalism is a very big problem in the video game industry, but not in the way that most people think it is, and I can't believe I'm about to say this right now. Not because of Tom Warren or The Verge. Quite the contrary, I think it's a pretty good example of industry double standards, managing to showcase on full display just how broken the world of video game journalism is, for precisely the opposite reasons that the public is angry about right now. That's a very cryptic way to describe things, I know, so let's do the...
I would describe it as the problem with access journalism is the same problem that exists with the fucking requirements for what you need to say and do for Wukong, which I can look that up for you right now. Bing, bong, and rewire. Black Myth Wukong guidelines for content creators have apparently been leaked online. Streamers who agree to use a game key are not allowed to include politics, feminist propaganda, China's game industry policies, or trigger words such as COVID-19 or quarantine. Pretty much all the things that would be involved inside of this, quite literally, are only based on what you'd expect it to be, with, you know, all the shit that happens. Namely, not being able to insult other influencers or players, meaning content's focused on yourself, not being able to use offensive language or humor, which is more the fact that they want to be fucking PC and corporate, which is just normal death of the shit, but then not including politics, violence, nudity, feminist propaganda, privatization, and other content that instigates negative discourse, basically being what the majority of most players deal with on the basis, but then also content related to China's game industry policies, as well as the trigger words of quarantine, isolation, and COVID-19. Most access journalism comes through the form of what was done by the rags, from people like Rebecca Valentine and whatnot, making a news story that had nothing to do about the game to try and tank the news scores of the game's ranking, ultimately amounting to nothing. Which, good. It shouldn't. and fuck them, because they knew what they were doing. But that's what I would define that as. Media access journalism that basically says I need to give you a good review, otherwise I don't get to have a copy of the game, is not something I'm interested in. No person should be interested in it, in my opinion. But if you try to restrict my ability to, to be interested in that thing, I'm definitely not going to want to work with and be involved with your game. Let's see here. Can I get a better way to get Python Blueprint? 6%. 32%. 71%. 71% mutant AA. I don't know if that's going to be easier or not. Actually, it's the same one. Let's see. Let's go find out. Certainly, I can't get my shit pushed in that hard, can I?
The obligatory context over. About a month ago, over on Steam, a new game called Deadlock began alpha testing. Deadlock is a hero shooter, kind of a MOBA hybrid, Overwatch meets Team Fortress 2 mashup creation, with a map and minions and 6v6 gameplay. The important part is it's being made by Valve. The game looks fun. In the background I have some Deadlock gameplay from a small channel on YouTube called PC2 Master Race, I'll link to them down below. The thing that matters is Valve. See, somewhere in August, early August of 2024, something about the alpha testing fundamentally changed. Previously, there had been a couple thousand testers online at any given time, but that number began to rapidly skyrocket, and it turned out the mechanism by which new players could get access to the alpha test was a pretty simplistic invite tree. I don't know if I have to go in depth here, but essentially any player with access could then give access to anyone else on their entire friends list, which led to whole dedicated server channels on Discord for the purpose of sharing these invites and getting as many people into the game as possible. Yeah, it very quickly spiraled out of control, and suddenly there were over 20,000 concurrent players in this private alpha test, private with big air quotes there, meaning that the real number with access was far, far higher, by the way. Concurrent player base is just a fraction of the overall total. There were 20,000 concurrent players in the test at any one time who didn't have to sign a single thing to get there. Hopefully everyone can see the problem. Deadlock is now everywhere. The gameplay is all over social media. Odds are someone on your Steam friends list has been playing it non-stop, and the metaphorical levee broke to where no form of copyright censorship or other takedown mechanisms would ever stem the flow of public information. The ship sailed. The game is out there now. It's a done deal. However, the most interesting part about all of this is a journalistic outlet called The Verge and a reporter named Tom Warren. Yeah, Tom Warren, because of the invite structure, gained access to Deadlock just like the presumably tens of thousands of other random people who were actively playing the game. He clicked past the pop-up non-disclosure agreement, which isn't a non-disclosure agreement in the first place, and started playing. Being a video game journalist, he decided to write an article about this, and it landed him squarely on the bad side of public opinion because he was violating the trust of Valve and spreading information about the game in a way that they didn't intend. That's really the crux of the entire issue. Before continuing on today...
Realistically, that is dumb, because if a journalist wants to talk about the game and what's in the game, they should be able to do so as long as they are not doing something that ultimately breaks all the logic of how one would source the shit, do the shit, talk about the shit in any capacity. As long as they are willing to do the effort, do the work, make the game, treat things right, be fair to the game and its review score, etc., etc., I could not care less. It's no different as if I or Jay were to make a video on the same topic. What I don't like is that the kind of access journalism that we usually deal with is people who have created a cottage industry around themselves. Rebecca Valentine, Alyssa McConte, Dean Takahashi, Rami Ismaili, any person who is a descendant of Jason Schreier, whether they remain at Polygon, Kotaku, Destructoid, Rock Paper Shotgun, Ars Technica, and all of the affiliate groups and all of the activist watchdog groups that exist as a font of them. I care when they use their power to try and tip the scale because they are unwilling to take accountability for what they're doing to other people and how they behave, and acting that if what they're doing is reasonable or is fun or is fair. Because it isn't, and it's not, and many of them know it not to be, but that doesn't matter, because as long as they make the money and as long as they gain the benefit of making the money, that's the only thing that matters to them. In my opinion, it should not be the only thing that matters, because that's not the only thing that matters. But in many other cases, that is all they care about. That is all they care for, and it's retarded that that's all they care about and care for. And most of that is the descendancy of people just having bad news and having bad resources and basically not caring about game news or esports or the scene, sectors, whatever. Whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to name it. That is the consequence of it. That's where it came from. That's what it's involved with. Wouldn't have to be like that if it weren't like that, but it is like that because it be that. It's retarded. Fucking Christ almighty. To wait for that.
Today's video is made possible by Incognito, which is an online privacy and data protection service. Every day, without fail, your data is being sold by third-party brokers or frequently accessed without your knowledge in data breaches. A recent example would be Facebook literally selling your message history to Netflix. Some people don't care about this, they should care in my opinion, but this lack of data protection often facilitates identity theft or other cybercrime. And for anyone who wants to prevent that kind of thing, Incognito can help. Your personal information is everywhere,
Why
not just
did
in the
you
archives
destroy
of
that
you know about, but
dumbass?
other data firms as well who then sell it all across the internet. For everyday users, it's effectively an impossible task to stop that in any capacity because there are hundreds of these data brokers. It's a nearly insurmountable obstacle to contact them, fight objections, and get anything actually removed. However, Incognito does all of this for you quickly and easily. I've used it myself, it works, I've seen the results, and therefore I can sincerely recommend it. The process is relatively simple. Sign up for the website, give them specific legal permission to work on your behalf, and let them know the information that they'll be having removed. After that, sit back and let them work. Aggregation of the service lets them streamline the process because most people as individuals can't really do anything and don't have the time or ability to make a difference. Using the link down below in the description and code Echelon at checkout, you'll get 60% off an annual subscription to Incognito. I could go into a lot more depth on this. The services they offer and the value they provide is quite large considering. But for the sake of time, I have to keep it short. Again, link down below and promo code Echelon for 60% off your subscription. Big thank you to Incognito for sponsoring the channel. Just to make something abundantly clear here as I resume, I have no love for The Verge. They suck, routinely, and I've never even heard of Tom Warren before all of this happened, but sentiment right now in the video game community is extremely clear. Verge bad, Tom Warren evil. He ignored an informal NDA. Stupid, poo-poo, stinky. I hope they get banned from covering Valve games forever. They suck, blah, blah, yeah. That's kind of the atmosphere that I'm witnessing.
That's mostly because that's as much as people know. If they had any idea of who he was and what he did for a living, and what kind of business he runs, and how he runs said business, they would have a lot more different opinions. But unfortunately, they don't, because that's all they know, so they only do and know what they know. And off that and that alone, that is where that pretty much ends and begins. Doesn't go above that or past that for them. Because that's all they know. That's all they care for, that's all they know. That's all that matters. People are very simple like that. They're very sheepish when it comes to thinking in a group.
And at the risk of running afoul of that very same public opinion right now, you're all wrong. Just to get this out of the way, I myself would never have done such a thing. Not against Valve, anyway. See, I like Valve, and I have different rules for different companies. A great example would be Cyberpunk 2077 at the 2018 Closed Doors E3 reveal session. I was in the room and witnessed the enormous amount of backlash received by a smaller creator who decided to tape the audio from that session because they didn't explicitly say he couldn't tape the audio. I was just as angry as the rest of the community when that happened because this guy had straight up betrayed the trust of CD Projekt Red, secretly taping something and then releasing it when the thing itself took place in a very, very small setting, in which he was one of a carefully selected group of people with a legitimate agreement not to record. Not cool. But this, right now, with Deadlock and Valve, this is a very, very different thing. Like I said, I would not have personally done what Tom Warren did because I like Valve. If it was EA, though, and 25,000 people were playing their new Battlefield game with no actual non-disclosure agreement, yeah, I don't give a shit. I wouldn't be respecting and honoring their little NDA pop-up window because it doesn't matter. But the community is falling into a trap right now. That's the main point, where their love of a publisher, an individual publisher, is tainting their entire overarching opinion of journalism. Let me put it like this. Imagine any other industry, social media, technology, software, literally anything. Now imagine there's a giant new product coming out, like an iPhone or a VR headset or whatever it happens to be, and they ship that product to anyone who has an invite code. Minimum tens, more likely hundreds of thousands of these products get sent out, and the only thing they have is a little paper, a note in the box. When you open it, it says, "This is a secret product. Don't talk about it, please." That's it. You would be hearing about this product on every single major technology media website immediately, and they wouldn't be wrong for doing it. They would not receive backlash, they would not receive criticism, they would be reporting on widespread publicly available information about the new product in the industry, as every single other relevant publication did it too. That's kind of just how it works. But here, in the video game industry, people are livid at Tom Warren, simply for talking about something and posting an article to The Verge, when that same topic is getting talked about by thousands of people across social media, hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, and tens of thousands of players in the game right now. It's actually insane to witness this kind of delusion firsthand as people get genuinely angry about a reporter covering a topic that hundreds of thousands of people were given total open-ended access to, with no actual protections against what any of them could say.
It's mostly the feed off of what happens when game journalism bad. This is the context of why I do not like the coverage done by people like Rudis Rambo and Grums as of late. You cannot, in your infinite wisdom, say pee pee poo poo bad, how dare pee pee poo poo bad, and then not understand that everything that you do from there is contextual to how you chose to behave after the fact. Most people are being told they're the bad guys, they are mean, they are crude, they are evil, boo, 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 but they're not told reasons why they're bad and why they're evil. They just know that they must be and are, therefore it is good to harass them. And yeah, hate game journalists, but can't you hate a game journalist for something that they actually said? Something that they actually did? Shouldn't you be upset that they're involved in shit that they shouldn't be involved in, instead of, doing their job and you not liking them doing their job? That's not the same thing. It's never the same thing. It can't be the same thing. Because if it is the same thing, then we have lost our way. Granted, most of them have, because it doesn't matter for them. It only matters that they get what they want out of it. But if you're gonna get mad at a games journalist doing game journalist things, maybe keep it contextual. Maybe, just maybe, keep it contextual. Because if you can't explain it, it's not going to end well. Most people don't give a shit. I should, and you should too.
It's completely mind-boggling to see the sentiment emerge that this is disrespectful to Valve, or a betrayal of their trust. And it marks the real issue with video game journalism. It's probably going to get me a decent amount of backlash for saying. Access journalism, big air quotes there, is a bad thing. Being given something and then covering that thing with positive slants with the express intention of maintaining some sort of enduring connection so that you can...
Quid pro quo,
things,
quid pro quo, say the words.
It's a damaging cycle. But it's a cycle that exists in practically every single industry. Full disclosure, I myself have partially engaged with that subject when it comes to Path of Exile 2. I got flown out to LA, played a demo of the game for a day, came home, and then covered it. Now, you have to trust that I genuinely liked it, because I did. And Path of Exile has been one of my long-standing favorite games ever, by the way, since I was a child, with multiple reviews. I played every few seasons, etc., etc. However, another thing you don't know is that I also did an interview with one of the GGG founders. Yeah, they selected me from the group for some reason to do an interview with game director Jonathan Rogers, and when I came home, I literally didn't even use it. In a sense, I feel guilty because I wasted their time and resources to a degree, but I don't do access journalism like that, and I just didn't necessarily think that interview served my audience a whole bunch. Also, I was completely unprepared for it and mostly just confused about why I was there to begin with, especially seeing how cliquey the entire community really is. People all know each other, they have their own drama, and I felt like I didn't really belong there. Regardless, the game was fun. I did talk about it in a video, and I'm absolutely going to play it when it comes out and do a full review. It's fantastic. But there's this entire multi-angle HD interview of me with one of the GGG founders just sitting on my hard drive because I don't know what to do with it, and posting it just for the sake of posting it felt kind of strange. You may rightly be wondering how does that even connect, but let me just tie it all together. Access journalism is almost universally a bad thing, if allowed to fester, for example. It's a corrosive problem that gets worse over time. However, Tom Warren from The Verge, by covering Deadlock in the way that he did, is not exemplifying the concept of access journalism. Precisely the opposite, in fact. He's showcasing the behavior of someone totally unconcerned with access journalism by talking about Deadlock, even though talking about it cannot be viewed as any sort of realistic controversy, betrayal of trust, or problem. Inversely, the hardcore gaming community are the ones cheering on the concept of access journalism by celebrating the idea that The Verge might be barred from covering Valve titles in the future. People are saying it's deserved and they should get
revenge. That's what they're focused on. They're focused on the revenge, and not the actual information side of the business.
blacklisted, which is the antithesis of a healthy media environment when you're talking about a game that has been essentially leaked completely to whoever wants to play it. The only reason not to cover a game that has been so widely and completely dispersed to the public with no legal protections whatsoever of any of it, and a multitude of people across the entire planet posting raw footage, reviews, commentary, etc., the only reason not to cover it is access journalism, and a hope that you will stay in the good graces of Valve as a company, which means better access later, because you avoided talking about something abundantly public now. I have to reiterate here, any other industry, take your pick, would never have the same controversy. Try to fathom whether or not Google, sending out 50,000 copies of their newest Pixel phone, and Wired magazine reporting on it thereafter, would cause people on social media to be like, you're betraying Google's trust. The little paper note in the box said, don't talk about this, how could you? No? Is that an unfair comparison? Okay, how about something much closer to that? Sit there and tell me to your face that if Epic Games released their next big update for Fortnite to everyone with an invite code, we're talking probably over 100,000 people, and people could just also generate infinite invite codes. Try to tell me with a straight face that PC Gamer writing an article about the next big Fortnite update would be a betrayal of trust and worthy of them getting blacklisted.
The answer is no. But the problem is that it's two different kinds of journalism. For one, people who are established versus people who are not established. If you want to keep an equal level playing field, you can't have access media journalism, because what if a story that I cover on my fucking stream here actually blows my channel up? versus me not having a chance because I can't get into the room where it happens, because I don't vote and I don't use my voice and I don't attest to myself the way that many of these people choose to, seek to, and do. That is a problem.
Go ahead, think it through. Full circle now. Access journalism is a bad thing, but for some reason, the video game community is so hell-bent on criticizing media outlets and journalists for participating in it, they're ignoring their own role in exacerbating and perpetuating the problem as well.
Because it has more to do with them wanting to get access to the information than it is with them having to actually understand how it all affects everything and how it all flows together. It's the same reason why multiple videos that can be made, or should be, or would be made about something can be really fucking annoying to see and hear constantly with no real coverage on how it's supposed to be good or bad. It is annoying as fuck, because what's bad about it is if you're not giving me information that it's actually usable about the thing that I'm supposed to be looking into and wanting to be a part of, why would I want to watch it? Why would I want to play it? Why would I want to do that? Blah, 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 blah. All that shit has a consequence. And the consequence effectively amounts to, whether you like it or not, when I cannot be able to compete, I cannot even begin to compare. And if I can't compare, if I can't compete, then I'm forever at the mercy of something that I can't actually control. And if that's what I'm at the mercy of, how the fuck would anyone ever be able to consider it on an equal playing field? Should that be something that they want to talk about? Or that be something that they want to look into? That's where I'm coming from with my perspective on the problem. Because that's the only perspective that I think really matters here. A lot of it comes down to, I don't like this person. He did something I didn't like. What did he do? He wrote a bad hit piece. Versus 25 channels that made content about Helldivers, bleed off, they jump ship, they then make horrible clickbait videos that misinform people about things involved in Once Human. They get off that, they then go to The First Descendant, clickbait videos on that, and then they move, and then they move, and then they move, weeding out lots of jargon, lots of rumor mill, lots of, hope they can make a new update for the patch, dropping a video a day about the cycle. Doesn't make for good content. All in the name of search engine optimization. Now imagine everyone's doing that. Now imagine amongst people doing that, there are those that have direct hands into the business that are allowed to give themselves the power to get access to what they have. So they can play on the perception of being the voice of the modern audience inside the building, in the room, while also telling people that they're a smart, beautiful person because look at all the beautiful people they're surrounded by and how you're not here because you're not one. That's what really this is about. That's what actually controls that. I'd rather hear about a piece of content from a YouTube guru who made a video throwing it out there on a 100, not even 1,000, not even 10,000, 100 fucking sub-channel about a game that I'm playing than trying to get that shit from a media source. Because it's going to be more passionate, it's going to be more honest, it's probably going to be shorter and more direct and solve the problem, instead of me having to parse through it to figure out if it has the answer in it in the first place, before I hear, okay guys, make sure to remember to like and subscribe, because I turn that shit off immediately.
I'm not saying there's not enormous issues with video game media and gaming journalists as a topic. I have ample videos in the past criticizing them for a variety of things. But this is a really strange display of self-delusion where the community is raging about the fact that a video game reporter covered something that is essentially public and cheering on the idea that access journalism should now be weaponized against the outlet he works for. That's not proper logic. People often criticize gaming media for being access-driven, but now, when a reporter does something ever so slightly against what their favorite company might want, the community rises up and basically screeches that their access should be taken away, to try and bludgeon them back into submission inside outside the framework of access journalism. Anyone who's angry about this article from The Verge is part of the reason why the media industry is so broken. You can't have healthy journalism when even the audience is clamoring for access enforcements against you, for covering even the most obviously public content possible. Again, I wouldn't have personally done this to Valve because I like Valve, but I would have done it to Activision Blizzard, or EA, or possibly Ubisoft, depending on my mood. So I can't sit here and whine about the fact that someone else covered Deadlock when anyone could go play it whenever they wanted to anyway. End of the day, when it comes to Tom Warren, The Verge, Deadlock, and access journalism, the spicy take of the day is, I think the community is actually the problem on this one. They're unknowingly enforcing a toxic standard for media and journalism in the video game industry, and they don't even realize. So hit me with it. I know the like-dislike ratio is going to be spicy on this one, so yeah, I resign myself to that. That's it. If you want to support the channel, check out...
That is what it is. People are going to have opinions. They're going to have opinions, and they're going to have attitudes about those opinions. And you just have to accept that it is what it is, ultimately, at the end of the day. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the opinions are going to be what the opinions are. Because people are tired and they're annoyed, but they don't really know how to best communicate that information to who they want to criticize and communicate it to. I don't blame them for having those opinions, but I do understand where it comes from, and I want people to know that I understand it, but that doesn't mean that I'm okay with it, because we can do better. We definitely can do better. It is something that we can achieve, it's something that we can work on, it's something that we can have as a goal. We can do better than this. Absolutely, we can do better than this. It's just gonna take time. That's all it's gonna take, is time. Take time, take effort, take aim, and we will succeed. We will succeed. I have to promise you that. We will succeed. Promised land is right there, boys. We will get there. Don't you worry, we will get there. It is there, it is surprised, it is reviled. We will get there, shit will be great. We will have plenty of money, plenty of honeys. All of it will be wonderful. And it won't require us to have to sell our souls to do it either. It's gonna be great. I promise, I promise, I promise. I promise, I promise, I promise. I promise, I promise, I promise. Which now brings us to the breakdown. Featuring Grums. Because unfortunately, nobody else has written a breakdown about this. So I have to use Grums. Chinese YouTuber Faye Philly explains where Rebecca Valentine's IGN post got it 100% wrong in the Hitpiece article on Black Myth, Wukong, and Game Science. Edge and rude, yes. Sexist and misogynistic, no. Rebecca got this so wrong and it caused so much harm to Game Science's reputation that she needs to be held accountable and retract the article. IGN got the translation wrong because the translator was not a native because he was Korean, and of course IGN has an agenda. The article was picked up as fact by other Western media outlets that were eager to smear the studio. The only article sourced is the IGN article, and you do not see it everywhere. While the YouTuber does not agree with how Game Science says things, she clearly lays out where IGN got it wrong. YouTube video posted here. Thing that must be said and must be understood before we even dig into this. Please understand that the opinions of people who are affiliated to the Chinese Communist Party are people who are actively put in that position to be the mouthpieces and the representation of how they are discussed and how it is disseminated within the gaming space. Their opinions are not their own. I say again, their opinions are not their own. Their opinions are not their own. They are literally shills. They are literally shills. They are literally shills. Their opinions are not their own. Their opinions are not their own. Their opinions are not their own. Alright, let us begin.
Release date of Black Myth Wukong draws nearer. There has been some commotion in the gaming community, especially due to issues involving IGN and Sweet Baby. I believe there will be more attempts to stir things up
Sweet Baby
and after Black Myth Wukong's release. For some reason, there seems to be a group of people who don't want to see the game's success. However, from the trailers and demos available so far, Black Myth Wukong appears to be an outstanding work in terms of its setting, characters, music, technology, cultural essence, and more. Even so, I'm still on the fence about making any final judgments until it's finally out. I'm really afraid of being blindly optimistic, only to be disappointed in the end. Nevertheless, I purchased the deluxe digital edition as soon as pre-order were available, because as long as it maintains the quality of the first video, I believe it will be worth it. Last year, after the annual Black Myth Wukong trailer, IGN published an article accusing the game's developers of being misogynistic, claiming that they didn't need female players. As a Chinese female gamer who pre-ordered the deluxe digital edition and works in the gaming industry, I wanted to talk about what really happened. What exactly did the developers say? Are they truly misogynistic?
Yeah, that's exactly what I expect.
I'm originally a self-English learner from China. As my second language, I can't use it properly sometimes. If I make any mistakes, sorry in advance and please correct me. I really appreciate your help. So let's back to Black Myth Wukong. Some people say they're an unknown small company with no previous work, but that's not true. The lead developers entered the game industry around 2008, and in 2013, they developed a game called Dou Zhanshen at the internet giant Tencent, which was also related to the Journey to the West story. At that time, it caused quite a stir in the industry, and the game's CGI trailer were still impressive, even by today's standards. I first heard about them then because my classmates often mentioned them, but back then I had no interest in them or the game. Not because of them specifically, but because I didn't think much of the Chinese gaming industry as a whole. Sorry for that, but at that time, the Chinese gaming market was flooded with low-quality, rescanned online games with no real works that could be considered proper games.
True. We all know this. We've all experienced the pain. That is why we have the First Descendant. Because the Koreans recognized that they could dominate this market field, and they have been for the last 5 years straight. There's a games journalist by the name of Zhu A. Lu EX. I'll pull him up on screen real quick. Sure I have the name right. Yes. His proper name is Daniel Ahmad. This person specifically is an analyst of the video games market in Asia and MENA. He has been a very, 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 very important part of understanding the marketplace that comes from those regions. Because he is the one that is on the ground in that era doing the fucking work. This is the Richard Lewis of the China. This is Chinese Richard Lewis. He is on that ass. Frequently. Regardless of his political takes. The shit that he follows. He does his job, he does his work. Please follow him. Please support his work. Moving on.
I was playing games like The Last of Us, Portal 2, Uncharted, Silent Hill, and Assassin's Creed. Games that were strong in story, technology, art, music, and gameplay. Back then, the Western gaming industry hasn't yet been influenced by DEI policies, and everything was still normal. You know what I'm talking about, Ubisoft. I really don't want to make this comparison, but unfortunately, there really weren't any notable game works in China at that time. Almost everything was pay-to-win or reskin online games, with no consideration for gameplay or artistic value, and the technology simply couldn't compare. As a female gamer, I really disliked this development environment. Not the work environment, but the creative environment. Most games were created from a male perspective, with sex women and ugly monsters. So my first reaction was that Dou Zhanshen was just another game like that, and that development team was just a reflection of the Chinese game development industry. However, I didn't think this was a problem, because the female gamer community wasn't very large at the time. Both female developers and gamers were relatively few, with a male-to-female ratio of about 7:3. Even among the excellent games I mentioned earlier, there weren't many female players. I remember that female gamers only started to get attention around 2015, with Japanese games like Token Number and Ensemble Stars. This game featured beautiful and handsome male characters, combined with the popular Fujoshi culture, which is the hobby of imagining male characters in romantic relationships with each other.
That is very nice of you to try and tell me that that is what Fujoshi is, when we know goddamn well that is not how the Fujoshis behave.
Find themselves are not necessarily lesbian or gay. Since then, domestic developers started to notice the consumption potential of female gamers. And as more women entered the industry, developers began to intentionally or unintentionally include more elements that women liked, such as good-looking men or cute little girls. This leads to some games having up to 60% female players. The funny thing is that some developers even use this statistic as a marketing tool to attract male players, like, come to our game to meet real girls. Imagine if World of Warcraft introduced a new race that looked like Legolas and wore thick clothes, attracting many female players, and the male-to-female ratio shifted from 7.
I mean, if that got them to play the video game, I wouldn't be mad about that. I'd say yes, absolutely. Have fun. Yes, sir. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I would be fine. I would be completely fine. I would not be upset. And the reason I would not be upset and I'd be completely fine with it is that there'd be nothing for me to be concerned about. Cause fuck I'm supposed to be mad for? Fuck am I supposed to be mad for? Am I supposed to be mad that they have that focus? That they are interested in that shit? No. Hell no. Fuck I'm supposed to be mad for? Fuck am I supposed to be mad for? Difficult enough. Vesper runes. Difficult enough being able to have the ability to talk about it, let alone see about it. Why would that be something that I'd be concerned about on the dead ass end scale of it? At the end of the day, I wouldn't see a reason. Would you see a reason, chat?
3, 2, 4, 5, 5. Then Blizzard would run an ad saying, "We have the largest number of female players. Come and pick your real wife." It's unbelievable. I came to play the game, but I ended up being treated as a game asset. This happened to the Chinese game industry and community. That article accused of saying we don't need female players was written in this context. The developers weren't saying they didn't need female players, but that they didn't need to do things to pander to women and then treat them as a resource to attract men who wanted to date. Of course, I'm not defending them. I don't think they're misogynistic. This article clearly reflects the male perspective creative environment I mentioned, where crudeness is seen as a humor and offensiveness is considered art, although being interpreted as a self-mockery. Although the intention was to express a desire not to cater to anyone, male or female or other groups. The way it was said made people uncomfortable, leading to a series of misunderstandings. I'm not someone who engages in gender conflicts. While I don't like this behavior, I don't think it's a big deal that needs to limit their creativity and expression. I just hope they can be more cautious with their words. Fortunately, their fame was still limited to a small circle in China at that time, so it didn't cause much of fuss. Later, due to creative differences with Tencent, they left and founded their own game company, Game Science. Before working on Black Myth Wukong, they made 2 mobile games to survive, which I don't know much about, but during this period, they made some rather vulgar recruitment posters that reflected their usual style and received a lot of criticism. I'm sure you have encountered people like this, those who think dirty jokes or swearing are funny. Personally, I don't mind much. I think everyone occasionally swears to release stress, and I do too. But I would never bring such behavior to work or formal occasions, nor would I include it in videos. That's a sense of boundaries and respect for others. Otherwise, like them now, while gaining high attention, their low-quality behavior also gets big effect, even causing people to accuse them of being sexist. This could affect the reputation of their work, which is a pity. Then came to the Black Myth Wukong period. On August 20, 2020, to recruit talent, they released a game demonstration video that shocked the entire China game industry. This small team suddenly gained overwhelming attention, and the creator Feng Jie posted in famous Weibo that IGN criticized as sexist. Particularly the first sentence, 想扩圈多招几个被舔到勃起不能 was translated by IGN as I wanted to expand my circle and hire more people. Get licked until I can't get an erection. My English isn't very good, so I don't know how native English speakers perceive this. But in Chinese, what he actually meant was, I just wanted to recruit a few people, but received more price than expected, which made me feel uneasy. However, I wanted to clarify that just because I understand what he was trying to say doesn't mean I approve of his way of saying it. Again, you can call him rude and crude, but there's no need to label him as sexist. The backlash against them.
I mean, I think everybody called him based. But you know, that's just me.
On the Chinese internet actually started at this point of the first video came out and wasn't anything new. Their inappropriate remarks from before were dug up and wide separate at this time. This spread reached beyond the gaming community, and every year since, whenever they release a new video, it sparks another wave of criticism, with people arguing fearlessly over it. IGN's report last year was late to the game, and it even escalated to a national level, which is rather bizarre. I think this kind of controversy will only increase after Black Myth Wukong release. If there are any flaws in the game's quality, the criticism will likely be even more intense. Even though I'm aware of all this, I've never cared much, nor have I been interested in joining these battles. My only concern is the final quality of the game, because this is more than just a game. It carries the hopes of Chinese game developers, especially those pursue high-quality games. We have had enough of risk-and, gacha, pay-to-win, low-quality games. China has become the world's largest gaming market thanks to these games, and capital is more inclined to invest in what they see as profitable. Even large companies with ample resources have never dared to do something like this. I've stolen cars in GTA 5, climbed the Florence Cathedral in Assassin's Creed. I was also the king of the Elden Ring, but now finally I get to be the Monkey King. I really can't describe this feeling. I truly hope that Wukong can succeed. So maybe we can see more high quality, technically advanced, and artistically refined domestic works. So I sincerely hope that regardless of the controversies surrounding its development team, Black Myth Wukong doesn't disappoint us in terms of final quality, as that is what I truly care about. So that's all for today's video. Please feel free to leave some comments and tell me your thoughts about this. And if I made any mistakes that confused you, please correct me. And I'm sorry if I said anything wrong. Anything you want me to talk, please leave a comment and help me to improve this channel too. I really appreciate it. So until next time, stay safe, stay positive, and peace. 再见. Bye bye.
Yeah, that's exactly what you'd expect from a member of the CCP media, but that's more or less the breakdown of exactly what happened there. They tried, the shit didn't work, and they got fucked up by it. Ass beat, felted, busted, broken, destroyed. Other words. Switching gears. We have dumb things on the timeline. We've all seen it. We all see this take constantly. Here's another case where we can go on again on record. Things that Carl doesn't like. What really grinds my gears? Why do we care? I want to know. I legitimately want to know. The people who complain about this. Why do you care? Are you doing it for attention? You gotta be doing it for attention. You're upset that somebody wanted to beatify a character and make them look slightly better? There's no real difference between this or this. Gah! They made an optional modification to a game and I know it exists! Fuck! Shut the hell up. You're annoying. A blue, 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 blue. A blue, 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 blue. I can almost promise you, unless you're going on a reset error, nobody gives a shit. Get over yourself. Why do you like seeing people be ugly? Get over yourself. It's so dumb, and it's so painful, and it only goes in a cycle. Because of course, this is treated like it's something serious. This didn't used to be a thing. This has only become new within the last few, I'd say, years of game development. Chat, throw up a hand if you can say if you remember a time before this. I don't know who the fuck came up with that, but your desire to get upset about things that you can do in an optional mod, and then using that as a way to get clout, because, oh man, the Yak Man jumped onto my video talking about how this game never got actually banned for its mods on Gaming Nexus, when they're actively looking for ways to restrict access to the material. I don't know who the fuck started it, but please end it. End it immediately. Which now brings us to our next topic. Who's ready to hear a furry brag about being paused on camera? Are you ready? Are you prepared? You're not ready. You're not prepared. Let's go.
I contracted HIV on purpose. Now people are asking me to give it to them.
What the what is
it's on PUC4 too, so you can't even pretend to say this isn't a real person. What are they doing out there, blood? Blood clot. What the fuck are they doing out there on Britbong Island? I get infected with HIV and then people ask me to pause them up. Only the furries in a gay furry mask. Looking like a serial killer. Looking like a serial killer.
I contracted HIV on purpose. Now people are asking me to give it to them.
what is sexual about wanting to chase for HIV?
People do it for different reasons.
I'm asking you why you do it.
I'm not trying to shock you, and I appreciate that a lot of people do find it a very distressing topic.
At the end of the day, you're playing with your life by choice because you want to have more pleasure.
But pleasure is very important.
Nah.
Black woman, gay white man, all of them live in Britbong Island. The Britbon man is trying to defend the furry. He is trying to defend the furry and he is just not succeeding. He is not succeeding. It is a sickness. A literal sickness. A literal sickness. And he says, but pleasure is important. Babs, pleasure is important. Dear sir, where do you believe that you should have the pleasure to kill yourself and other people because you feel that it should bring you joy knowing that you can and infect someone with your disease? This should land you in jail. You deserve to be hunted in the street like a wild boar and burnt alive, since it is a sickness that you are trying to bring as the bubonic plague, with your budontic booties moving your badonkadonks in a circle in your side of your figure 4-6-8 leg lock dance tribes. I believe that it is our job to eradicate such a sickness from the public. For you to sit there and you breathe the same air as this person, do you not feel bad that this is happening to you? Did you not feel shame as you tried to defend yourself? Did this bring you pleasure to say, no, let him cook, I will let him cook in a bonfire? Let's just continue.
Nah, like there's not so many things that can give you extra pleasure that doesn't involve you having bareback sex.
The fear.
Like sounding with a rod inside of your penis. It would be more sympathetic for everybody else if you did that kind of pain to yourself. You still get to hurt yourself, you still get to bring erotic pleasure to yourself, and I don't have to potentially get sick because you thought it was funny to get a disease, an autoimmune disease that would make you weaker for sexual pleasure with others, for your own sexual pleasure. These are things that you could have done, but you did not do. And now I ask you, why? Why did you do that? Why did you accept an interview about this? These things are not being discussed. I do not know if they will. Why? Why do they exist? Why do they exist? Tell me please, why does it exist? I think not. There is no reason.
Fear that you're gonna get HIV is actually, it's not a little bit more pleasure. It ruins your intimacy.
No shit, dumb fuck. Why did you try to justify it then? You stupid bitch.
For good.
What I'm going to say now is probably going to really upset you and probably really sicken you.
You have to appreciate this is a lot to take in. I just need to be left alone right now because this is just mad.
The term bug chasing refers to someone who's HIV
Holly, NY, and Caden.
negative but wants to be infected with the HIV
Of course they call themselves Wolf. They're not using their real name in this shit.
virus. Bug chasing is actually a very small proportion of the gay community. And
That is a lie. There are people inside of the big gay that support this kind of behavior on public. Again, I will not show you the pictures because I do not want you to ruin your lunch. But Carlos Maza going out in public with his husband and getting bent over in parks while then being mad at the people he beefed with to cause the secondary apocalypse, Steven Crowder, before he lost his show Strikeforce and then resumed being a champagne socialist on his mother's hardware software company, is a clear case example of the clear issues that come with this kind of viewpoint. He says that it's fringe, but it's actually very widespread. It just depends on what kind of bug it is. The HIV bug chasers getting paused up happens to be amongst the most deranged of the fetishists. It is a subset of the bug chasers, but it is not a subset of the mainstream gay community, which is what he's trying to say there. This is not a subset of the mainstream community. It's disgust. It's wretched and vile. It's nasty. It's fucking nasty. In and of itself, dead ass. walk off on you real quick to use the bathroom. All that being said, let's continue.
And people who are HIV positive, the number that deliberately bug chased is, again, really quite a small proportion. I've been described as an ethical gifter in that I have a
An ethical gifter of a disease that kills people.
conversation with someone, so I would never go up and have sex with someone randomly without first having a discussion about my status.
Why?
Oh, how responsible of you. But here's a question. Why don't you just don't have sex? Just don't have sex.
Would anybody want to be given HIV?
For all sorts of reasons. Some see it as a fetish, some see it as power play situation, some people want it so they can relax.
Will you seek any medical help for that at all?
I will do it at some point.
So you're gonna knowingly give yourself something and then use an NHS service that's already strange because you're fulfilling some sort of weird fetish or fantasy?
Yes. Yes. Yes, he will. Yes, they do. Yes, he will, and yes, they do. Because they believe that it is somebody else's responsibility to deal with the aftercare of what happens after they infect themselves. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. The fucking annoyance on her face. Parse that thought, chat. All of it together. Right there. That's what you need to see. The logic.
I didn't contract it for fetish or fantasy reasons.
No, but will you use, my question is, like, will you then use, you've knowingly given yourself something, and then are you going to then use, are you going to go private so you're paying for it yourself because it's something you've chosen to give yourself, or are you going to use the NHS?
I won't be going private. I will be using the NHS at some point when I decide to go on medication. However, there's also the argument that people who take PrEP use up NHS.
Day PrEP medication, pre-exposure prophylaxis, is 99% effective in preventing HIV. This coming from the NSH. Basically, the argument is, yes, I'm going to go public and I'm going to use taxpayer money to support my fetish. But listen, actually, I'm not doing all that much damage. I'm not using that much damage, bro. I'm not doing that much damage. The argument here is that one person would not be doing that much damage, but you're not one person. You're a person in a situation amongst many who are being selfish. So yes, you actually are doing damage. As long as you're able... This is basically the streamer argument. Oh my god. Oh shit. I just realized. This is the streamer argument. Bro, I'm stealing your content. Bro, I'm stealing your content. You can't quantify the numbers and the views and the potential money. So it's okay that I keep stealing your content. I should do lazy reactions and take your shit. You can't prove that I've done a problem. You can't prove the money. But here's the thing. This is taxpayer money. They can. And they should. And you should go to jail if you can't pay it. It's okay. You can just get the gift of getting that ass whooped and getting that ass busted wide open in prison. And then you can say, haha, Trojan horse. Oh my god, no! 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 No.
That's project as well.
I've been struggling to actually say anything because I have been living with HIV for 10 years. And although right now I've got a handle on it mentally, from the very beginning I've been undetectable, no risk to my partners. But I know a lot of people don't have that privilege, and people kill themselves after diagnosis when they realize what the reality is, right? That said, for a lot of people mentally, the gayest thing you can do is get HIV. So I think it's no surprise that some people derive sexual pleasure, and it's part of people's sexual behaviors.
Okay, he is allowed to have that opinion. However, the way that they cut that made it seem like, nigga, did you just try to justify this man's sexual pleasure seeking? No, we can't. They did it! Carl is great at single player Carl.
I don't know, yeah. I just feel everyone's just talking at me and asking me questions and shit. I just need to be left alone right now because this is just mad.
The African Americanite has to remove herself because she's getting angry about something that she knows she has a right to be angry about. And they're like, can you just please, for the purposes of Wolf, can you just try to give him some grace? He just loves to get paused. He just loves pausing and getting paused. He loves getting paused in his pause. Can you just give him the grace to just allow him to? And she's like, nah, bruh, nah, blood, I can't have it. Nah, I gotta ride the plot real quick. She is so real for that. She is so real for that.
So what is the law in terms of giving people HIV?
There's something called reckless transmission, and if I passed on my HIV to someone who didn't know my status, that I hadn't disclosed it to, if they weren't aware of my status, I hadn't used a condom or taken other precautions, I could be charged with GBH. Personally, I've never had sex with someone who hasn't known my status.
Okay. Well, I can respect you for that. You are one person out of a sea of people that right now, if you go to California, it isn't even a crime. Well, actually, no, incorrect. It's not a felony. It's a misdemeanor. They can spit in your food. They can nut in your food. They can put blood in your food. And they will get charged with a misdemeanor at best if you can prove it. Let alone catch it in time. Let alone be able to take them to court for the financial damage and the emotional wreck that you will become because of the diagnoses. Real shit.
Or, if they haven't known my status, that
and yeah,
I haven't
so
had
he
the type of
says.
sex that would they be at risk from contracting HIV.
Do you know how many people have contracted HIV from you?
Please don't have a number. Please don't have a number.
I don't really want to... Yeah, no, I prefer not to answer that.
Now, here's the reason why I say that. If you know the number, then that means you keep track. And if you keep track, then you should have never got infected in the first place. However, she's gonna react to that by saying, I don't want to talk about it because you went to the BBC, bro. You went to Channel 4 and said, yes, BBC, I'd like to talk about how I love big black cocks and how I'd like to get paused by big black cocks and pause up other cocks. Yes, yes. And then when she asks you, so what's the number? What's the number of the people that you've infected? And you say, I prefer not to answer that. I prefer not to answer that. That implies that you do have shame. Which brings to the question of, why are we here? If you're finna come here and talk about it, you might as well talk all about it. But you're telling me you too shy? You ain't got a number? Oh, you're hiding your HIV infection body. Where the little bitty paws come out and infect the countryside of West End? You wanna go to Ranger with Chitty Gatwa and twerk on the set of Doctor Who? Fucking, you're fucking pulling my leg, bro. Bro, you're pulling my fucking leg. You're pulling my fucking leg, bro. You're pulling my fucking leg. Oh my god.
I've never heard back from anyone that I've had sex with that has regretted the positive test result afterwards.
That, you know, we're not lying to your face. Your eyes are so dead, and they are dying inside listening to you. This is the correct reaction, by the way.
I do know of other people who have regretted it. Maybe it just goes to show, because of those outcomes, that the approach I take...
That is extremely defensive body language right there. She is not happy hearing that news. No, sir. No, sir. Making men look good right now, don't he? Oh, man. I really hate... Let's look at it from the kidology position. What could I have as a dating woman of my age here in Britbon land? Could I have a man who likes dangerous, violent sex? relax and putting his hands on my neck and holding me by the back of my arms like this and galumphing me like he's riding the waves down the back end of the rocky street? Or would I rather get paused up by a gay man who can't even be honest and straight-faced with a dead fish stare? I wonder what my dating options should be. Bro, I take the rape gang every time. I'm not even joking. Not even joking. I take the rape gang. If I had to choose between that and that, take the third option, take the rape gang. Because how the fuck do you keep your cool hearing this? That's my question. Who the hell? How the hell? Who the hell? What the hell? By the hell? Oh, god damn. Give me 1 second. I need a sandwich. Fucking shit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, sir. Let's go.
Is the moral, is the ethical approach to it helps minimise the risk of someone reacting badly to their diagnosis?
You know what helps people mitigate the risk of reacting badly to a diagnosis of HIV? Not infecting them with HIV!
Or maybe I'm kidding myself.
You are definitely pulling your own leg. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are. Yes, sir.
I can relate to one thing you said quite deeply. Even though I don't share your decision to give people, I have also experienced what it feels like to be always wondering when you're gonna get HIV. Since I contracted HIV, despite everything that happened.
You mean AIDS. I think he means AIDS, not contracting HIV when you already have HIV. You mean AIDS, when you finally develop AIDS.
And all the pain. I cried for 6 months initially. I have never had better sex than after. Because...
Furiously shaking his head saying, fucking woman is wonderful. I explode on the inside every time I nut every time. That's crazy. But let him speak. Let him cook.
I don't have to worry about that one thing, so I get that. I get that. And it saddens me that most people won't give it enough space to hear that. Like, this is unique. Most people...
Okay, let's address that logic. Now you said that, let's address that logic. Would I have better sex if I and Star didn't have to worry about pregnancy? Doesn't matter if it was a magical spell, doesn't matter if it was a ball switch, doesn't matter if I'm infertile. Would we have better sex if that were not something I had to worry about? I think that would be a fair answer. Whether she was already pregnant, whether she was not able to have the children, for whatever reason that I've chosen to make, or we made collectively, probably. Is that an argument that you should then apply to HIV? Show of hands, chat. Type 1 for yes, 1 for no. Type 1 for yes, 1 for no. Should you use the argument of, now I don't have to think about it, as a positive for why you shouldn't concern yourself with HIV spread or infection? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Let's see them. Let's see them.
People will judge you before they even...
But there's
consider...
no.
Well, this is what I'm talking about.
No, because at the end of the day, you're playing with your life by choice
But
because you want to have more pleasure.
But pleasure is very important.
Sex is sex.
No.
Yeah, it is. Sex is
Nah.
sex. Sex is sex. Just because you want a bit more pleasure in bed. Like, there's not so many things that can give you extra pleasure that doesn't involve you having bareback sex. And doesn't involve you getting HIV and then giving other people HIV.
The fear that you're gonna get HIV is actually, it's not a little bit more pleasure. It ruins your intimacy for good.
I'm not trying to shock you, and I appreciate that a lot of people do find it a very distressing topic. I'm not doing...
I mean, you're casually trying to discuss the idea of, yeah, but even though I'm going to choose to get it treated on public medical care, yeah, I'm an ethical gifter. I ethically gift a disease that will kill you. I inform them that when you get this unshaven, uncut, uncircumcised, godly gift, that I am giving you pleasure and an autoimmune disease. I am giving it to you, and I am sharing it with you, and I am informing you. Mainly so that I don't get sued and go to jail.
it to create that sort of reaction. Thank you though for listening to me.
That guy's fat.
That was difficult. That was really difficult for me. I can tell that it was difficult for you as well.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
That's why I've just stayed quiet,
Because she has nothing nice to say, because she didn't want to be nice. This is the consequence of a two-caste system inside of Britbong land. If she said what she wanted to say, she'd get arrested for mean comments posted to the internet. It's a crap shit.
I have nothing like the arrogance, the narcissism, the entitlement, the privilege.
I see different things. I see oppression and...
Oppression of what? Please tell me he's being oppressed from expressing his true feelings. Please don't tell me that's what you're saying. Please tell me that's not your argument. Please, please, please.
Essentially,
oppression?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay, so you see, this is one of the things that I don't think you perceive.
I think it's really
You
true.
can't expect anyone to feel empathetic for people of your community that are like that.
I think
Yes!
I think
Yes!
the end of it is there's just way too much to unwrap here.
Well, a lot of
I'm
tumors
cutting.
are
I'm done now.
Ah, yes. Yes. That's the correct reaction. That's the correct reaction. Don't even unwrap again. Throw it away. Throw it all away. Whole baby. Bathwater. All of it. Out the window. Burn it alive. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like, he's allowed. Specs is allowed to have his opinion. But your opinion is wrong. And you should feel wrong, and you should feel embarrassed, and you should feel bad. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because this defensive mentality permeates everything that ever has anything to do with public sexuality displayed on a public platform. We can look into it here. From technically neutral but crossover content creator, Respect Elves, Pedo Hunters, lure pedo in waiting to meet up with a child, Twitter communist weirdos, That could have been me! Entrapping a mentally disabled person so you can have an excuse to be violent towards them is sociopathic. It does nothing to help victims. The men who make these videos should be arrested and are probably projecting on their own weird thoughts about kids. On one hand, this goes in line with those pedo hunters that are just beating the shit out of pedophiles in public. For political and judicial reasons, I am going to disavow the violence. However, I do not think this is the perspective that you should be walking away with, because you're just going on defense for pedophiles. That's all you're really doing. It's not new, and I don't think there's any proof of the person in question being mentally disabled and handicapped, because how the fuck is a mentally disabled pedophile going out into the world and hunting kids? Let's start there. What's more likely? That they didn't expect that they'd get caught? Or that they're stupid? Or that they're disabled? I'm not saying that they wouldn't have some type of learning disability, but I'm saying what's more likely? Intellect, intent, seeking out purpose. What's more likely? Which then brings us to this shit. Three lines that made me and a lot of people annoyed watching She-Hulk turning it cringe. This scene, everything to do with this scene, was really fucking dumb and really fucking annoying. If a Deadpool project explicitly mentioned men's mental health, and I guarantee you they'd be lapping it up, but for some reason this scene triggers everybody. The reason this scene triggers everybody is the interest of how they focused on actually, she doesn't have these things for reasons, and she doesn't have this trauma for reasons. She-Hulk said, "I'm a woman, I handle stress better than you. Cousin of mine that put a bullet in your mouth and the green guy spat it out." Moving past that. Twitter shit. People being upset that female characters are being drawn in a certain way. Calling them black-coded. I'm so tired of the code washing. I'm so tired of the code shit. I did my time. I did my severance. I did my time. It's okay. I did my severance. I did my time. I want to be removed from the fucking blackwashing, whitewashing, art washing bullshit. Because it's all fucking cringe at the end of the day. It amounts to nothing. It produces nothing. It's a meaningless thing to talk about. It's all drivel at the end of the day. And it makes my fucking blood boil a little bit. Because it makes nothing useful of its discourse. What exactly do you mean when you say a character is black-coded is the problem? That's really the long and short of it. What's acting black? What's being black? Because according to people like FD Signifier, and all the other individuals in my 3-hour video breakdown, being black is when you allow black women to step on your balls. That's what being black is. Being a black nerd is following the path of lightness, of brightness, of darkness, and darkness, and allowing them to tell you what you should think and what you should support. It's being a footstool. If that's what you think being black is, along with being black is when a character has non-human appearing functions and is clearly a type of mutant, bro, be for real. Be for fucking real. At the very least, at least let it be something that looks like Nessa. At least have the appearance of, well, you see, I just don't like the, she just seems like, no. At least let them be visually black, so that it makes sense. Why the fuck are you mad about this? I know motherfuckers that want to get sticky icky in their pinky, but listen, what about this woman makes you think she's black? Her eyes? Which, of course, there are other people who gave their opinion about the Jen shit. Because it's all, for me, all of them go in the same place. The thing about this scene that I dislike most is it implies that hiding your emotions is the same as being in control of your emotions, which are not the same. It's the difference between hiding your anger and not getting angry. And it's clear the writers think this because she doesn't Hulk out while she's saying this. When, in other scenes, when she talks about this, she literally does Hulk out as she explains shit. And, of course, boys and goyles. Before we get into this, the cult members of Camden Gerard Davis. They have words to say. Let us read from Spencer. Looks like Spencer is back on Facebook, in groups, asking for money for moving. She's claiming Max is domestically abusing her and starving her. She doesn't say his name, but it's very implied because she lives with him. Wasn't Max supposed to give her a bunch of money? It seems like he spent it or he lied. Here's screenshots I got. I cover for people, but not involved with them. I met this young girl online from a post she shared in a local group. She's doing her best to get out of a really bad domestic situation. She's trying to get back local, stay with friends where she will no longer have to starve, but can't bring herself to abandon her dog there. I know some don't get it, but some will. She found a friend who will foster her dog until she gets on her feet. She just needs some help. Even small donations add up. Spencer Silence, August 7th. Goal met through donation page. Thank you to the person that donated the full amount from the bottom of my heart. I wish abundance on you and everyone that supported. Goal met through donation page. Anyone wants to help here with $1 for food or shelter, that would help me a lot right now while I get ready to come back. I need help to funds to get my dog from El Paso, Texas to Greensboro, North Carolina. Any little bit helps, but I need $350. I have $2 towards that. I have been living off donating plasma, so I don't even have savings. Here's my payment options. With a photo of him to get attention. I wonder who is the fucking simp. I'm right there next to Xylee. I wonder who's the fucking simp this time. I wonder who is the fucking simp who is back paying this victim of Camden Gerard Davis. I want to see what happens next, don't you? Who knows what will happen in the crazy, wacky world of Spencer? I'm fully of the opinion that she was digging him down. And then after his volunteer position got fucked with, that she's just like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. He's bad. He's bad attention. He's bad updates. Thank you, whore. I'll look at that in a second. Ah. Beep 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 beep. Update from Kristen Ark, directly from Horror, directly into your feed, live into your eyeballs, chat. So I ended up moving with the YouTuber that was supposed to help me expose the cult as it was my last resort. He promised to cover food, medical, everything. He only wanted help for the money, so he never paid any of my medical from the start. He was buying food, then he tanked his career, which in turn has people convinced I'm a bad person like him, so people are stalking me online. But you were a personal friend of his. He knew you before. You convinced him that you were in a werewolf cult. People laughed at you and they were noticing the other shit that you were doing. And then he tried to pedo jacket every person after getting exposed by other content creators. Okay. He made people believe I'm a bad person by you being directly attached to him and doing nothing but being a victim. Wants me out because he's not making money off me, but still wants to try and make money off me. He got me a dog and had me move everything I own to anchor me. I figure out having a foster for my dog before I can figure out permanent moving housing, but my biggest issue is needing someone willing to drive the full 18 hours from Dallas to here and back. How horrible that's so horrible, Spencer. Spency, baby, that's so bad. Oh my god. Oh my god. What could you have done? Oh my lord, what could you have been able to do? It's not like you could have made better decisions and make better outcomes and better choices based on information. No. You had to move in with him. Exposing Camden Gerard Davis was the most important thing, girl. It was the most important thing. Man, that's horrible. Oh my god. Anyways. I have the U-Haul trailer figured out, but I'm panicked because if I don't get out after my dog leaves after the 15th, I'll be stuck here after my birthday and have no way to feed myself. I've been having to live off of... didn't even say that. He's not physically hurting me, so he's not abusing you. But he's withholding funds that were supposed to be mine since January, saw me struggling to donate plasma just to feed my dog and myself, gaslights me and also tried to convince me to break up with Michael. Why would he be trying to convince you to break up with somebody? I thought y'all weren't fucking. Was that a lie? It was a lie, wasn't it? That's crazy. He had $5K that he was supposed to give back to me as funds for the survivors of the cult, but everyone else fucked off. I asked for the money every now and again, but his excuse was always something about bills. I finally remembered again today, and he's taking $1,700 in expenses, so I only get $330. And he wants to do it every 5 payments in $660. I got my first payment today, but we're covering my dog's transportation, my friend to foster him. It seems back a bit. If you make a post, please don't name me, as people on Reddit are stalking me because of this YouTuber, and I don't want to add any fuel to their fire. So why are you... Okay. Zzz, bring that one back in. Spencer, you made bad decisions. You want people to talk about your story, but you don't want to be named directly, despite everybody knows it's you. You're not doing this from a burner. You're not using different pictures that you haven't been associated with. You are posting as yourself, saying, please tell my story, but don't mention me on Reddit. People are gonna fucking make fun of me. They just got him fucked from his volunteer work. They stalked him to fuck with his volunteer. They don't care, Spencer. They will attack you. The worst and least of your problems is you figuring out what you're going to do to yourself and with yourself. And the least of your problems is what people are saying about you. Because if you're not hearing and seeing the shit and saying it to yourself, how the hell are we supposed to help you, girl? That's crazy. That's wild. What's the Spencer lore? Spencer is a girl who got involved with Mama Max, who's basically been living off of him for the hope and potential of being able to get a career off the ground, and it's not working out for her. Girl, be ashamed of yourself. Be ashamed of who you are. You put yourself here. Nobody screwed you but you, and maybe Mama Max. Cap. Cabalappa, Slagadagga, Yabba do. Which of course brings us to the footage, the body cam footage, of what happened in the arrest of one Sonny Chu. He talks about Sonny Chu, talks about the trolls, talks to Magi-chan, an audience of historians outside watching and documenting it. All while being arrested from the Chris Chan 2021 body cam arrest footage being released. Well, officers surprised to learn that Chris was famous, with people gathering outside to record the arrest. Let's see if we can see the big fat pig Ralph retort himself in the footage. Let's go! Let's go!
Is there anybody else in the room?
Wait, check there.
Spirit, well, interdimensionally, you
No.
can't tangibly see them.
Spirit, don't.
Followers. Yeah, those are trolls. They're following me from the internet. Do not report this.
I think that's real. Oh my God, what is this?
I am Christian Sanchu, your goddess blue heart. Okay, alright. It's happening now. We're on the very last thread.
What? They're everywhere.
It's so funny listening to them react to that. Don't you love when people who have real jobs have to deal with the delusion of the internet? Oh, it's so great. Oh man, it's so nice. It's so nice for them to hear and see this delusion. It's so great.
I don't believe that. We're surrounded.
What began as a routine arrest on August 1st, 2021 in Henrico, Virginia, quickly spiraled into a surprising spectacle in the parking lot of a Regency Inn hotel. The focus of the unexpected attention was internet personality known as Chris Chan. This never-before-seen footage was obtained and first released by Iwu, and reveals a behind-the-scenes look at the day that took thousands of online observers by storm.
What the heck is going on right now? It's the most wild call for service I've ever been on.
As officers with the Henrico County Police Department cautiously approach the second-floor hotel room, they prepare themselves in case a possible altercation waits for them behind the door.
She's right here. Oh, gotta unlock it. Hello.
Yes.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Christine Chandler.
Okay, can you come out for a second?
What's the situation?
What's that? You got a warrant for your arrest, all right? Yep.
Okay.
You're not gonna start. You're not gonna do that. Do not fight. You will get tased.
Okay, well, listen, I will comply, but I'd like to clear up I'd like to come back to my things.
We'll get that all straight. We'll get all straight.
And what about my band? And I'd like to put my shoes on, please. Yeah, sure, of course. We'll get there. Okay, I can slip into my shoes. I have to change.
Just walk right in the door. Just, hey, how you doing? You're under arrest. Simple shit, honestly.
Chris El Savannah.
While these words may seem insignificant to the officers, they carry a profound significance for Chris, which will be explained later.
You're just being detained right now until I can confirm the warrants, okay?
Okay,
Just hang tight.
The officers have received reports of some very disturbing allegations against Chris, but nothing prepares them for the events that are about to unfold.
Sit down right here.
Okay, I will sit down.
Okay. Where are your shoes? Right here?
Over there.
Is there anyone else in the room with you? Is there anybody else in the room?
Spirit, well, interdimensionally, you can't tangibly see them.
Physical person. Is there a physical person in the room with you?
I'm originating from this universe now. I need to stand with my shoes on. I mean, I'm doing this way. I am complying, and that's my set of keys over there.
Your keys to your car?
Keys to the van, and yeah, my wallet's in my bag over there, the brown bag.
What, this bag?
Yes.
Can I look in it?
And grab something. Oh, that's one of my rings.
I know. Can I look through? Can I get your bag out of your...
I have nothing to hide. Go ahead and look through everything that's in the room.
Go ahead and look at everything that's in the room.
Go ahead. You have my permission.
Okay. Just flip them on. They're going to give you flip-flops when you get down to the jail.
Okay, well, I identify as female, and I would appreciate if I was suspected as such. It even says so on my driver's license, female. Okay, that's fine. Just making sure.
As one officer searches through Chris's belongings, he quickly makes an interesting discovery.
Where's your wallet at?
Oh.
Don't come over here.
It's the duct tape wallet.
Okay. On the outside?
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, grab a seat.
Okay.
No, grab a seat right there for me.
Oh, my bad.
You want all this to go with you? Like your wallet? Or you just want your ID to go with you and your cell phone?
Yeah, my wallet and my cell phone is over there in front of the tarot deck box.
Yeah, I got a cell phone right here.
Oh, that's my secondary phone.
That's your secondary phone?
I have two phones, one for the pros and one for my home. I got two phones, one for the boys and one for my friends. So they give me two phones and a song.
Yeah, have engaged.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who?
Hey, let's the guy.
Nah, that's a popular one. He's a fine gentleman.
Suddenly, a keen-eyed officer spots something happening outside, which sets him on edge.
Are you waiting for someone to come to your room or something?
No, I was only waiting for the deputy that I talked with earlier today from the sheriff's office in Rutgersville.
Okay. All right. You're not waiting for like anybody else though? Any friends or anything?
I have nobody else.
The only reason I'm asking you is because there's a car up there and there's two gentlemen staring at us.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know if you're waiting for someone to come over or whatever.
Yeah, see? I stand at my job.
It's a sure.
I was not waiting for anybody. I was not waiting.
They're standing up there by the gas station. You know the people?
I'm curious.
I'm just asking. I don't want anyone rolling up on me.
While Chris doesn't recognize the strangers gathering to watch them from a distance, there may be a reason for their unnerving presence.
Okay, well, I would say question them because I am famous and infamous on the internet, so they may be video recording.
Cool. I'm recording you as well.
That's I think that much.
Not readily accepting Chris's explanation, the officers try to work out their own alternate explanation for the curious spectators.
Yeah, it's alright.
There is nothing illegal in the room, nothing illegal in the bag. Please, feel free. I have nothing.
It's got a very military style hook. I wonder if it's Green County. $80 It's rental. Hey, it's good. That would be something Green County. I mean, I know there's a lot of agencies that use rentals for surveillance. I mean, like staring. Yeah, I know. That's why I asked. I'm just staring right as we walk up. I didn't see him there before.
They shrug it off for now, but it will soon become apparent that these observers have surprising intentions that none of the officers could have predicted.
So you talked to the Green County Sheriff's Office today?
Yes.
Did they call you or did you reach out to them?
I reached out to them. I wanted to make sure my dog and cats back at home were safe and taken care of.
I guess so.
Is it crazy that Chris Chen has more respect for human decency, life, and stability than a fucking crazed paused furry that actively gets infected in the UK and the behavior of fucking Spencer? Is that not the most bizarre shit you wouldn't have expected on your 2024 bingo chat? It almost makes me respect them. Almost. Actually being chill.
The warrant itself is not a surprise. You know there was an investigation, all that.
Yes, there was an investigation. Yes, I am aware of the situation.
Okay. Did they say that they were coming to Richmond?
Yes, they said they were coming to Richmond. And my vehicle, in case it wasn't obvious, is the blue Dodge Caravan out there with license plate says Sonichu on it.
Magichan Sonichu, a blend of the characters Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog, is a character from Chris's hand-drawn graphic novel series. Sonichu may be more than just a drawing, however, as you'll soon hear from Chris how this character blurs the line between fiction and reality.
So just so you're aware, right now we're just confirming the warrant through Green County, okay? That's why I said you're detained once they say that.
Okay,
once they say the paper's in hand, the actual arrest warrant, then you're gonna be under arrest, okay? Okay. Well, you didn't at first, but I'm glad you did. Yeah, that was kind of the point a little bit.
Meanwhile, the evolving situation outside still has the officers on high alert.
Yeah. No, because I can't tell if they're just recording or... I wish I could read the tag. I'll just stare back at them.
I need a moment.
Okay.
Already marked my issuance.
So you want to take your necklaces off and stuff like that, or?
You're gonna take them off when you.
Yeah, you gotta take them off when you get to the jail.
Okay, but
Since they're not, the only thing they allow are like crosses for like religion.
Okay, well, if I may speak, the statue-shaped medallion, the big yellow thing at the bottom there, that is my cross. So.
Okay, I don't know if they'll allow that one.
It protects me greatly. So that I am willing to take off the other two, but I really need the medallion.
Okay, well, I'm just letting you know that when you get down to the jail, if you go to jail, once the warrants are confirmed, that you may not be able to keep it. Okay. Just let you know.
All right, but that is my cross.
Okay.
Let that go on the record. The statue medallion.
Yeah, Officer Christian will tell him.
Back outside, the situation appears to be escalating, and officers are caught in a dilemma about how to handle it.
I don't have to go up there and see what they're doing. Like, it's not a person. I mean, I want to go address them, but at the same time, they can kind of do that, but they're not obstructing at this point. How much into you?
I'm sorry. 16 or 17.
Okay.
My
heart's on me too, because I want to, at the end of the day.
I know. Sassy Nick wants to, but Officer Nick does not.
Right.
So you might be like, can I help you?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Chris takes this moment to deliver a puzzling warning to the officers.
By the way, if any of y'all have been feeling a punch-like sensation on your leg, that is my husband, Magic Chansanchu, right on the opposite side of the universe field. He's punching you all each, just a gentle punch, to let you know he is here.
Just a gentle punch that lets you know that he is here. My internet has bundle.
With the arrest warrant finally confirmed, the officers are ready to move Chris to the waiting police cruiser. What should have been a simple task quickly takes a shocking turn, and things escalate in a way they clearly didn't expect.
All right, let's head on out. You ready? You good? We'll go. Let's hold on out. All right.
May I have the other, my earpiece tucked behind my ear, just please? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Sure will.
All right, head on out this way.
I'm gonna stay recording while we get the vehicles in case these people address us.
Okay. You don't know any people?
I do not know those people, and yeah, those are trolls. They're following me from the internet. Do not report this. They don't follow us.
Oh my God, what is this? What is happening right now?
This is going to be trending on the internet. We're going to post this online.
Though this prediction comes close, the footage will go even more viral than Chris imagines.
Appreciate it. I wasn't convinced that those were like internet fans, but that confirms it.
There you go. I mean, Google Chris Chan or Sonichu, and there you go. I've been infamous and famous.
Oh, look at that. Coming out of the woodwork. Good, I just saw you. Where'd you see that? Regency.
I'm going. I'm complying. I am complying. I am good like this. And I am Chris Chan Sonichu, your goddess blue heart, and I continue to stand strong, and I maintain everything with quick fill and my Sonichus and ghost shoes and everybody.
Let's not talk to them, okay?
Yeah, I keep in good faith. Everything is.
How is it that Sonichu is somehow handling being arrested and felted embarrassingly on the internet than fucking Ethan Ralph? Or the Ralph, Ethan Ralph, Review Tech USA, or any other fucking person who's been in the middle of shit like this. How is that happening right now? I don't understand. I'm scared. I want to go home. I don't understand. It's crazy how it's happening. Get my shit pushed in right now.
This point to workouts.
Let's not talk.
It's been stressful, but I'm taking it one moment at a time, and I got my loves.
While Chris maintains a positive attitude in the face of uncertainty, the officers can't help but be increasingly amused by the attention and the seemingly growing crowd.
What? They're everywhere. I don't believe that. We're surrounded.
I'm searching you, not Chris.
Well, it's offering you the option there.
What the heck is going on right now?
This is the most wild call for service I've ever been on.
You have anything else on you?
I have nothing else on me.
They're going to scan you in the jail, and if there's anything on you, you'll get back. Not your weed, tell me.
I have no weed, I have no drugs I'm consuming on me. Like I said, frisk me, there you go. That felt good! Okay. It's happening now, we're on the very last thread. It's happening right now. We're living it. The Magic Birds, baby. If Batman is your hero, you're going to meet him very soon.
I bet you're never working overtime for us again.
Oh, certainly will. Let's just wait.
Based.
With Chris now secured in custody and the tension from the crowd finally easing, two of the officers are more than ready to put the bizarre encounter behind them.
All right, y'all have a good day. All right, can we go eat now? Yeah, 100%.
But the unusual day isn't over for the officer tasked with driving Chris to the police station. And as you'll witness, Chris has so much more left to share.
People just taking it, rolling it out.
Locked into the room with the delusional man. You guys got to go to lunch, but I had to spend the rest of my evening with him. Y'all motherfuckers left him behind, and he had to hear him talk the entire way back to the station. No!
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, in over a month from now, the next celebrity scandal is going to happen.
Okay.
And they'll be all over that.
All right.
You may recognize or know my comic books I have drawn over the years and my chronicling and creations and discoveries of the Sonichu and Roschu Pokemon species.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay, well, give you a little bit of homework for research on your own time, then that's okay.
Yeah.
But essentially, I am a decent and good individual. I believe in everything that is right and positive, and I am literally a goddess, and that will be proven in the near days to come as we are on the completion of the Dimension Merge, where the universe half that was divided in 1380s by order of King Arthur. He ordered Merlin and two other magicians to remove and banish all dragons, unicorns, and other quote-unquote mythical creatures and overpowered individuals. And thus we were separated, transported into from what was originally called Universe 1C211987.
Chris dives into an astonishing account of multiple universes, where fictional characters coexist, many of whom may sound quite familiar.
You have everybody there. You have Superman, you have Mickey Mouse, you have Iron Man, you have Darkwing Duck, you have you have Impossible. You can have Ratchet and Clank, you have the Super Mario Brothers, you have Sonic, you have Link, you have everybody, you name it, they're there. And of course, especially Sonichus and Roshus and all of the other Pokemon known and yet to be known in all of existence.
So you're saying Pokemon's going to come back to this, where we're at right now?
Yes, and among others, like I said, if Batman or, actually let me ask you, who is your favorite superhero?
I'd probably go with Spider-Man.
He's going to come around, you're going to meet him.
All right, I can't wait.
I mean, if you're ever in New York, he's going to be swinging around there.
Why New York? Why only New York? Why can't he go wherever he wants?
Well, I mean, yeah, he can't go because he's a Spider-Man. He does whatever a spider can. But also, I am particularly fond of and have great appreciation for the mentally capable and the psychic power type of individuals. I have great respect for them, especially the good ones.
As the ride nears its end, Chris drops one final bombshell that will surely leave the officer with a lasting impression.
Yeah, so I am married interdimensionally with my husband, Magic-chan Sonichu, and I'm also married to my brain went blank on the word there, but anyway, I am also polygamously married to Giselle Roshu and Sylvana Roshu and the one and only Mewtwo, the one that was cloned by Giovanni's team in Team Rocket as featured in the first Pokemon movie.
Chris Chan, whose legal name is Christine Chandler, was taken to the Central Virginia Regional Jail and held without bond after being charged with incest. The victim was alleged to be Chris's mother. On August 8, 2023, 2 years after the arrest, the charges were ultimately dismissed.
Dismissed. Fucking ripped from the back. Christian. Fucking Christian. They are not paid enough to have to do that, bro. They are not paid enough. Notsoever. Nonesoever. None. Pain. Sheer attitude and pain. That was a hard day at the office. I would love to have been the dispatcher who put that shit out of them. Oh my lord. Alright. Let's round this motherfucker out. Let's round this motherfucker out. Let's get to some red pill shit. Let's get through some red pill shit, guys. Palate cleanser. Palate cleanser. Let's go.
You think you're worth it?
Yes, please.
Put your hand on my head again. I'll bite the whole thing off.
Don't even know what show it's from. I already don't like where we're going. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Let's get it.
Can a woman truly have it all if she rejects what men traditionally value in relationships? With men.
Let's see here. Men traditionally value virginity, exclusivity, chastity, loyalty, modesty. I, as a man, don't care about virginity. I wasn't a virgin when I met the partners that I met. It wasn't important to me. And it was not because I didn't have an understanding of it. It was because that was the furthest thing that I thought I should be worried about. In my mind, in any contextual pattern. For people that actually matter. Exclusivity. That's just commitment. Which goes along with loyalty and modesty and chastity. So like, you said the same thing 4 times, 4 different ways. I would say I value loyalty. I value bonds. I value sensibility. Communicative, collective, cooperative. Working in tandem. Teamwork.
Many traditional values being tossed aside. Does a woman still remain worth committing to from a man's perspective? Enter Sasha Snow from Sex Life, a character who defies nearly everything men typically cherish in women.
But you know who else code switches? Women. We fall into line. Fall into language and behavior which fits expectations men have dictated.
Sasha Snow is the best friend of the series' main character, Billy, whose wild sexual past collides with her present as a married mother when her bad boy ex, whom she still fantasizes about, reappears in her life. Sasha embodies the modern mammy archetype and portrays the stereotypical strong and independent black woman.
Sasha, people are counting on me.
And people aren't counting on me? I have a foundation, Cam. A business? I'm up for tenure at Columbia. You need to check your own sexist bullshit.
What does that mean?
Quick spoiler alert. Here it comes. You've been warned. The premise of this video is that Sasha Snow gets married at the end of season 2. To me, this made no sense. Why in the blue hell would a man with the socioeconomic stature of Dr. Evans marry a woman like Sasha Snow? Sure, it's just a show, but media has a powerful influence on how we perceive reality. Disney fairy tale, anyone? Sex and the City, anyone? In this video, we dive deep into the character of Sasha Snow and the feminist ideology she represents. We contrast this with whether a woman like her could realistically be beneficial for a man to commit to. Let's talk about it. Disclaimer. This video contains copyrighted footage, so we will be freezing it frequently to prevent copyright infringement.
That's cool. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to your section so we get the content real quick.
And want the full experience? Consider supporting us on. It's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we many.
Sasha Snow is smart as shit. The only one of us who actually finished her PhD and is now a fancy psych professor at our alma mater. She's also the wildest, most unapologetic woman you'll ever meet. And all that wildness brought us downtown, almost every Saturday night, to the Ludlow Street Cafe. And one equally wild lead singer, drummer, bassist after another.
Let this sink in for a moment. Almost every Saturday night, to the Ludlow Street Cafe, and one equally wild lead singer, drummer, bassist after another. Let's say that of the 52 weeks in a year, half of those 52 weeks, Sasha is booty tap dancing on those Saturdays. This means within a year, her body count is already at 26. In 4 years, we're talking about 100 bodies. 104 to be exact. Remember this?
Expansive. I've had sex with 35 guys. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Shannon Sharp's reaction says it all. A woman with a body count higher than the predator isn't going to be more attractive in a man's eyes. Women know this, which is why many lie about it or avoid the question altogether. But the biggest issue with women like Sasha Snow and Brittany Renner is that their promiscuity isn't just a private matter, it's public and part of their reputation. They don't shy away from broadcasting their hot dog carousel rides to the world.
But it is so not serious. We're buddies. We want to be. We're in the same world. We see each other. You see a lot of people. I mean, you, a lot of people. Why do you have to f him? I don't have to. I just... Alex, hi.
Congrats on Soul, Dad. Thanks for not mentioning me by name.
Sorry about that. I should have given you a heads up.
It's okay. That's what I get for proposing to a writer. Everything is copyright.
That's not all it was.
Damn straight.
My next book is called Unattached.
Your agent came up with that title, not you.
Well, it's a good title because it describes who I am, who I've been for the last 17 years before you showed up again.
Sasha even wrote a book detailing her escapades for everyone to see, including the high-status man who eventually marries her. Why in the blue hell would a man of his stature associate himself with a woman who embarrasses him so publicly, especially in front of his family? I mean, this woman gets ran, sprinted through in this series. We can't show it on YouTube. Patreon gang salute! Brittany Renner can tell you all about this behavior because she did the same thing. Writing a book that reveals intimate details about her relationships with athletes and rappers, even if she changed their names to avoid lawsuits. To this day, no high-status man is interested in marrying Brittany Renner. Sure, they will sleep with her behind closed doors, but commitment, that's off the table. This is why it's important for women to change the narrative that promiscuous women are less desirable and less valuable, so they can avoid accountability while still demanding premium treatment. Throughout the entire series, Sasha is making a statement about having her cake and eating it too.
My idea of having it all means doing what I want, when I want, with whomever I want.
An independent woman.
For life.
Sasha Snow, the third way. Get it, read it, live it. This is the New World Order, ladies, and I like it.
This new world order is foolishness. It's built on the idea that women can act irresponsibly and face no consequences, ultimately threatening the stability of the family unit. Families are the foundation of society. Strong families build strong communities, and strong communities build strong nations.
I can agree with that, yes, but this is obviously a very horribly unstable, overly dramatic fictional character written for the purposes of black exploitation. That's pretty obvious to me off the face of it. If that's not obvious to you, I'm sorry if that's not, but it is. Why is she being considered and used as a standard? I could take some guesses, considering the other channels that propagate this and pull clips from places like TikTok and whatnot to exemplify how this is what people just expect to be normal and done. But I would say the fact that this is being shown as a case example of drama, played up for drama's sake, is that they do not believe that this is behavior that people should remember and emulate. This is supposed to be a criticism that she is not realistic, and that these are not realistic expectations, not realistic standards, and not a realistic outcome that you should expect a person to willfully be doing if what they want is a good outcome, in my opinion. I think that's a fair assessment to make, based off what is already there alone. If that somehow is unreasonable, I'd ask why. Because that's a lot, bro. That is a lot. I think that it comes from something. And because it comes from that something somewhere, people are not being for real right now. And they just need to be dead ass for real right now. That's what I would at least say. Like, you gotta be dead ass for real about what exactly it is we're trying to criticize here. What are we talking about? Get my ass shredded apart because this character has no defense. Like, what are we talking about? Like, is this a problem? I would not consider something like this to be a problem that I should be concerned with, honestly. But hey, they like it, I love it. They like it, I love it.
To destroy the family unit, they financially empower the agent of chaos and remove her from accountability. They attack, punish, shame, and discredit the men who try to hold them accountable. We'll be back soon with more Esther Villar videos that dive deeper into the women's liberation movement and the feminist narrative that women were oppressed by men and needed to break free. But at what cost?
I have to do whatever it takes to expand my platform. To teach women to fight back against the patriarchy and live the way they want to. You know that.
The feminist movement overlooks the foundation of the patriarchal system. How women not only voluntarily participated in it, but still benefit from it today. This idea of having it all, like Sasha's claim that it means doing whatever she wants, whenever she wants, with whomever she wants, might feel empowering. But it's not practical. It echoes Betty Friedan's feminine mystique, where women were encouraged to break free from traditional roles, but without acknowledging the consequences of those choices. You can't simply ignore the law of cause and effect. Check this out.
Maybe we should get married. And you could job you for the next 7 to 10 years. I hope that erotic asphyxiation is what it takes to finally get Sasha Snow to settle down. For 7 to 10 years, let's not go crazy.
The only man, this so-called strong and independent.
That's crazy. Because, okay, so there are so many things just happened just there. Okay, so the base problem, feminism, as it is pushed forward, is not an egalitarian solution that seeks to free men from a patriarchal system where they just treat women like they're human beings. It is a system that directly causes pain unto men and women because those women are subjecting themselves to a standard that holds them to an account that they can never be able to properly meet, describe, fix, or get away from. That's the first problem with the system. They're effectively at the mercy of that system and the systems involved with it and around it, directly affecting them in a way where they cannot be free of, quote, patriarchy. But the patriarchy is not even in the room when it happened. Because the patriarchy is basically consequences. That's the patriarchy. Patriarchy is consequences. Not even that they're good consequences, just consequences. Secondly, nowhere in a system where if we're trying to liberate a person from an oppressive structure, are you then going to destroy options and choices with that oppressive structure? Because the type of feminism we're talking about is choice feminism. I can make the choice that I want to get slutted and gutted as much as I want, and my action shouldn't affect anybody else, but it does. Because it doesn't just affect you, it affects you, it affects the people in your life. If you have children, it affects your children, it affects your partner, it affects anything that your fingers extend into. And the philosophy itself directly punishes any person who wants to make a similar choice that in your system, because you're willing to make bad outcomes for yourself, you're going to affect other people for it. This is a word that's going to be in the stickle of that criticism. Bad outcomes. You want to get into a relationship with a man who's very toxic and very bad for you because you like the feeling that comes from being around him when you're with him. But how does that affect the people around you that can be influenced by you and your actions? How does that affect the philosophy that you have going through the situation? Are you going to take those bad outcomes from thick or thin? Or are you going to wise up the second you realize, you know what, this isn't worth getting my nut in? What's the breaking point? Because if there is no break point, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Gotta be talking about something. And if that's the standard that you're working from and that you're dealing with, whatever happens next, it's finna be the wildest shit in existence. Far be it beyond none. It just will be. As an actual factual issue of that reality. Just how it works itself out. Realistically, from the whole of the thing. Let's go on.
A woman will marry someone of higher socioeconomic status. The money she earns is for herself. She's not interested in taking care of anyone but herself. And when she's tired, bored, or something better comes along, she'll divorce this man and take half of his assets. She won't leave empty-handed. In reality, no man of Dr. Evans' stature would be foolish enough to marry a woman who openly admits this up front. Yet, he literally drops the hammer in this scene. Watch this.
We've been living in this no man's land for the past month, flying under the radar. How do I know you won't leave me stranded again? Will the author of Unattached ever really attach to anyone?
So that's the real problem. You don't trust me enough to take the chance.
You haven't exactly given me a reason to.
Mic drop. It's like paying someone to rob you. This is why men need to protect themselves, because you can't trust these women. These so-called strong and independent women fail to provide a compelling reason why men, especially high status or high value men, should commit to them.
But she's obviously toxic.
Everything this woman has to offer without the ring, without the commitment, and so did many others during those 17 years. We've exposed the truth about women who adopt this mindset of having temporary men or clean-up men to do their bidding in the short term, with no intention of committing long-term and always having an exit strategy in place. Brittany Renner talks about this in her book. Check this out.
A couple weeks later,
I mean, true. Brittany Renner is a perfect case example of that, but she's already suffering the consequences of her bad outcomes. She wanted to have an easy life and wanted to get pregnant by a celebrity so that she would be able to feed off his fame. And all this ended up doing is getting her a spotlight that now has made her a perfect case example of exactly the kind of woman you don't want to have in about or around you when it comes to this exact problem. This television woman is an obvious red flag. No man would ever want to be with this for long term unless the coochie is worth it, and the coochie is not worth it. Because, like, promiscuity in your younger years is normal. It just is. If that's the first problem. So if you remove that concept and you take that away, then that bullet no longer exists as a silver bullet in an already failed argument for feminism. If young men can be celebrated for having sex, young women can be able to just get a pass. If men are supposed to be kings of coochie crushing because they've opened up enough legs that their master lock has broken open their keyholes, euphemism, then women can be able to do whatever the fuck they want, and they should be able to do it without judgment. Until they're in the context of a relationship. Then they have to then they gotta put away the whole phase. They gotta put up the locker. They gotta put away the roster. They gotta delete the Rolodex. Same shit. Men and women gotta be handled like this. Same shit. Because if they're not, then we're fucking lying to ourselves. Then we're clearly fucking lying to ourselves. And that kind of lie does not serve anything or anyone other than the people who want to be selfish. Period. And if that's the case, you gotta be for real, bro. You gotta be so fucking for real.
I had a dinner date lined up for Valentine's Day with a super shy but totally hot baseball player. I wasn't the slightest bit interested in him, but he was cute enough to pass the time. He had the warmest smile, but he wasn't you. I figured everyone was going to keep falling short in comparison if I didn't at least make an attempt to move on with my life.
This is where men have a problem. It's clear that in modern times, many women exploit 80-90% of men to meet their needs. Yet, they get upset when the top 10-20% of men do the same thing. What these women fail to understand is that just being a pretty face isn't enough for a man who has an abundance of options. That's why this narrative always circles back to the idea of love. Check this out.
I love you, Sasha Snow. I love you. I love you so much. There's no right or wrong answer. Whatever you decide. You'll always be my dream. I've been dreading running into you. Because that's how this town is. I just know if I saw your face, I'd be done for.
This is what women crave. Prince Charming offering unconditional love, regardless of where she stands on the socio-economic ladder. We're talking about women with questionable...
But these are attractive fictional men that have toxic personality standards. That would be the kind of guy that they would not want to fucking be involved in. No, I don't think that was Donald. Look, I don't think that was Donald. But if it was Donald, I didn't notice because I was too busy focusing on the words. Comparing these men and comparing these women to people like Mia Khalifa who intentively wanted to get involved into the sex industry to try and make money off of it is not the same thing as the kind of normal people who'd be listening to this and would be rejecting this message outright. I don't think that's a fair argument.
Pasts. Even OnlyFans content creators clinging to the fairy tale that Prince Charming will say, whatever you decide, baby, you will always be my dream. But let's get real. A man's love can go from 100 to 0 in seconds if he discovers that his girlfriend was the town harlot. It's exclusivity that makes a woman special. It's her virtue that earns a man's respect, and it's loyalty that makes her worth committing to. Love is amazing, but it was never the sole foundation of long-term relationships. Back in the day, marriages were often based on shared religious beliefs or other substantial values. Now, marriage has become a fashion statement, and that's why these vows don't mean anything. Irreconcilable differences, anyone? A woman can and will break this contract for whatever reason, but at what cost?
You stayed the course. Didn't let yourself get distracted. Now, you've got everything you could ever want. Except I'm alone.
This is the fate of many women who walk this path. It's predicted that by 2030, 50% of women will be single and childless. Sasha's loneliness echoes a common outcome for those who prioritize career and personal freedom over building lasting relationships. I love the line from her grandmother. Now you've got everything you could ever want. This reflects the flawed belief that professional success will naturally lead to a fulfilling personal life. But the foundation of these actions was always selfish, doing what you want, when you want, with whomever you want, without considering the impact on others. This is not how men approach their responsibilities. Men are expected to provide and protect, which requires them to take care of themselves first.
I would say we're required to provide, not that we're required to protect. But it's a normal argument that makes sense when you think about it on the long term. We want to create a civilization, we want to create a system, we want to create a sense of order. The same way that I want to order things inside the Discord to make things simple for myself and simple for other people, so they can both keep up with my content and know where to find all things Carl and Carl based, is the same consideration of wanting to have unity, order, stability, etc. It makes perfect sense when you think about it. Why and how am I supposed to be able to build a platform if I don't have the ability to protect something of my goal, my views, or my investment? The same thing that I protect my intellectual property is the same thing I want to protect my fucking my paycheck and protect my pockets. So, society doesn't force these things from men. Nature does. Society is what happens when man is held to the standard of rules that we create for ourselves in nature. If we didn't have any of this shit, I would have to provide food, shelter, survival to myself. And if somebody were to be brought into that organization structure, then providing that as an extension to them requires them to buy into that system. That's where the rules of society come in. That's the social contract. In a place where we have decided this is a public zone, I will be civil to you, you will be civil to me, and we will act like not savages. If you don't adhere to the system, we can get rid of all that shit and go back to nature. What's nature? I brutalize you and I take what I want from you. Hunga bunga! Drag you back to my cave. That's nature. Assuming that that's not what people want, I would believe that is the case of what they don't necessarily want. What is the alternative? The alternative is you must provide. Now this doesn't mean that man has to provide for woman, but naturally, because we are the ones that in this presentation of life happen to be in the position we are, sexually dimorphic creatures as we are, it is on us that all those things held together in equal focus leads to us being involved in the way that we could be involved. So, when it comes to the expression of the viewpoint of men should provide and women should protect and service the home, that comes from what worked in society as a part of our survival strategy. If men go out and hunt wild boar and woolly mammoth, women take care of cave. While women take care of cave, man continue bringing her resources. Man acquires resources, woman then organizes resource. So it's less a man does everything and more like a man does his part of the work. And even in that system, without having to involve the social contract of modern society, that would be the traditional standard. Man goes outside because outside is dangerous. Women stay inside where it is safe under the protection of man that she is with, whether it be man of her family, her father, her siblings, or her spouse. Man of village, and all those expressed as a part of it, give what they can to keep woman safe and protected, while allowing her to manage the resources of the home. I bring you meat, you cook food. I bring you money, you spend currency resource to then accrue more resource. Simple. Very, very, very simple. Any of that other shit has more to do with politics than anything else, in my opinion.
First, it's about being able to support others, not just fulfilling personal desires. In contrast, female nature is self-centered in this regard. When a woman can't provide for her basic needs, she seeks a partner who can provide even more. The more successful she becomes, the higher her expectations for a partner's success. Her money is her money, and his money is her money too. This mindset shrinks her dating pool significantly, but when she's in her prime, she's not thinking about the inevitable wall, the point at which her market value begins to decline.
Gran, I will always be grateful to you for insisting on not throw away my dreams all those years ago. I don't think any of this would even exist if I had run off to California when I was 22. Damn straight. But I'm not 22 anymore. And I'm not sure this is how I want to spend the rest of my life.
Women are living their lives in reverse. They're not looking for serious relationships when their sexual market value is at its peak. Instead, they develop unrealistic expectations and standards later in life, when the wall has already knocked them into oblivion. Shows like this are leading women to have Disney princess syndrome, giving them false hope. They create a fantasy in which it is normal for women to jump from one high-status man to another, and that they could do this at any given time in their lives. These women are in their 40s in this series. The men in these series are unfazed by the baggage these women carry. That's the fairy tale. That's the romance. Unconditional love, no matter what. But in the real world, we see countless women crying on the internet because Prince Charming doesn't want to commit to them. Women complain that men don't approach them anymore, yet they refuse to see themselves as part of the problem. It's always men's fault. And we are here to tell you that's false and foolishness.
But again, these are not realistic men, dude. They're not. This is the kind of shit you see in Atlanta. This is basically Brianna the Woman Mannequin. This is basically the archetype of Brianna. Brianna wants to go out. Hello, Buster. Brianna wants to go out, and she wants to be involved with guys that make her feel that she can be in a position and be that fucking stupid variation of vegetarian she called herself, flexitarian, while at the same time looking down on their height, looking down on their weight, looking down on their age, looking down on their background, while doing nothing whatsoever to build up the outcomes that she wants to work towards, thus making her a female incel. And then as a cope, going out onto that internet, and then looking for case examples where she can confirm the opinion and signal boost the viewpoint of women that put themselves in a position where they are the exact kind of person they need to be with, which is an angry male who blames everybody and an angry female who blames everybody, saying he's the reason I can't get coochie, she's the reason I can't get dick, he's the reason I can't get a man, she's the reason I can't get a woman. No one would pick this. So it's not, I don't believe that. That's not reasonable. I don't believe that at all. That's not reasonable.
Of the damage these women experience is self-inflicted. They are victims of their own choices. The information about what...
That is true, though. They are victims of their own choices, and it's not our job to save them from them. Go to therapy.
Men naturally desiring a woman has been available forever. The fact that women choose to ignore, override, or outright disrespect these values shows they're not here to cooperate with men and don't have men's best interest at heart. For those reasons alone, you don't have to feel sorry for them when they are lonely. A deeper connection can only be made with mutual respect, genuine care, and a willingness to give.
I've got the success now. I want the man too. I want to at least try to have it all, so I don't spend the rest of my life wondering, what if?
You just stood on that stage. Your entire essence is convincing women to live life on their own terms. Now you're gonna go and do the opposite?
Maybe these are my terms.
Patreon gang salute! Master, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.
Pain. And there are people who think that that's a reasonable argument. Let's get another one. I think I have another one. I have a different one. Different topic switch entirely. Let's round it out.
So this is a question I have asked on my live multiple times, and I thought it's time I bring it to video to reach a wider audience, because this is a question I have for a lot of black men and African men, and I think it's time we start to answer these questions. And before all you red pill bros come at me, don't. I'm just not the type of person to dwell on the perceived flaws of our women without focusing on ours. I pay attention to both sides. And if you know me, I'm not a panderer. I'm definitely not someone to pander to or try to defend people who are black boys calling me a bullet. No, if you know me, know who I am, the kind of family I come from, the kind of culture I come from. Tremendous self-respect. I'm not one to defend people who have known for hating me. This is not about black women. This is about black men. But I need you to answer this question. Are you ready? Now here goes. I want you to picture a scenario, right? Picture a scenario where a bunch of women are all hanging out. There's a white woman, regular white woman. There's a Jewish woman. There's an Arab woman. There's a Chinese woman. There's an Indian woman. There's a Mexican woman, a Filipina, a black American, and an African.
Can't you just say women of multiple origins and cultures? Jesus. Get it out, bro.
Woman. So that makes 9 women hanging around, just hanging around, chilling, just drinking, enjoying the day. And then out of nowhere, conversation starts getting a little spicy. It starts getting spicy. The spice levels starts going up, and then out of nowhere, the white woman just gets up and is like, you know what? You're not going to do this with me. I'm white. Our men control governments. You're not going to play with me.
So somebody gets indignant. Somebody insulted somebody else's mama. Somebody insulted somebody else's fucking pride, and then shit got real. Because people do that. Okay, I'm with you. What's your point?
Everyone's like, what? The Chinese woman gets up and is like, first of all, I'm a Chinese woman. Our men run construction. No, I'm sorry. Our men run manufacturing.
Okay, I think I see where this is going, but I'm gonna let him finish. 1 second. I think I know where he's going with this, but I'm gonna let him finish.
Sure. If you want to build anything in this world, you need a Chinese man. So watch what you say to me. Everyone's like, okay. And then the Indian girl gets up and is like, first of all, I'm Indian. Our men run tech. If you want tech, and if you want anything to work on your phone, you want your laptop, anything to run, you need Indian men. Don't mess with me. Everyone's like, okay, okay. The Mexican woman gets up. She's like, Los Tigres del Nortes. Don't fuck with me. If you need a roof over your head, our men run construction. Don't play with me. Mexican men run construction. You play with me, I'm gonna holla at Jose, and it's over for you. Everyone's like, okay, okay. The Jewish woman's like, I know you all don't keep your money under your bed, so as long as you got in the bank, and watch what you say. Everyone's like, ooh, okay. The Arab woman's like, well, I'm sure you all need gas. Arab men, we control oil. That's us, don't play with us. Everyone's like, okay, Arab girl. The Filipina is like, okay, I see what you're doing. Well, me and my girls, we have totally taken over the nursing industry. And have you noticed something? Our men are slowly taking over. In 10 years, none of you bitches can get a vaccine without a Filipino man, and we will all be housewives. So, checkmate. Everyone's like, oh, okay. So, black men, in this scenario, what have we given black women and African women to brag?
Before I answer that question, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask chat question. Chat, what is one thing that you can say right now your parent, male or female, gave the other in their relationship? A quality, a concept, a philosophy, a worldview. What's something that you can say, at least one thing? You could list multiple. What's one thing, either your parents, your own relationship, or the relationships you've seen between your friends or even your children? What's something that they have given to them, that they have actualized into their personality, that helps them with their life and their structure? Give y'all like 5 minutes, and then we're gonna go over that answer. Let's keep going.
Brag about or clap back about. Like, what have we given our women to brag about? What aspect of this world, what industry, what important part of infrastructure in this world do black men control? African men, the entire continent of Africa that belongs to us, what part of it do we control? That's my question. What do we control? And also, before you guys come at me, I know you red pill niggas again, y'all gonna come at me on some, oh, we out-earn Latino men, blah, blah, blah. Fine. Do you remember Ron DeSantis a couple years ago, 2 years ago, talking all of that shit about Latino men? Did you see what happened? I could just picture the scenario. Hector gets his phone, picks up the phone, calls Jose, is like, yo, Jose, hey, fool, you want to go somewhere? You want to go on a vacation or something? I was like, for vacation? You crazy fool? I got work. I see what yeah, let's go on that vacation. The Mexican community, the Latino community say, you know what, you want to play with us? We're not going to work. It took 3 days. Ron DeSantis came back out and literally apologized. And it's not spoken about. That is what destroyed his entire political, like, that is what destroyed his drive, his up, whatever the hell you want to call it, as a politician. Because he came out hardcore racist and was put in a position where he was forced to apologize to those people. That was it. Ron DeSantis is over. Trump did not pick him. It was over for him. Every group of men in this country, or wherever you want to call it, they have an aspect, an important aspect of society that they control. Black men, what do we control? I'm not talking about our...
Okay, so you said two things. One, you said African, and then you said black. What do you mean when you say black? That's too broad of a question for you to answer. I will make my question for you specific. What is something that you or your husband have taught each other about each other that helps you be able to lead in your relationship? That should probably help you give a more direct answer if that was too unspecific. Or was I? Oh yeah. You said African men and then you said black men. What do you mean when you say black? Because you very clearly are talking about African man. You're an African, eh? Black men are not Africans. And that I mean basketball Americans are not Afrikaners. Don't disseminate the two between the two. Because clearly what black men are giving and what black men are giving are not the same. Can't be. Not even close to. Because if you try to delineate between the two things and say that one is different and the other is not, you're already on my nerves. You're already on my nerves. Tap dancing on my nerves. Because that's a very annoying way to say, oh, well, you see, they didn't really give you anything. What are the women giving back to the men? We could start there. We could go tit for tat. But that doesn't actually solve problems. I want to solve problems. So let's solve problems. Black men are the backbone of multiple parts of the entertainment, agricultural, information, what's the word for corporate? Syndication, and power broker liaison business, not just in the entertainment industry, but throughout the entire of the Western and Eastern boards. Because there are too many people that are directly involved and tied to business when it comes to entertainment for it to be impossible. The black women in that conversation, would they have the ability to say, oh yeah, but see, my baby daddy C Block, he run the entire southeastern board, so if you want to be able to find somebody who's gonna help you with anything, you gotta get done. Y'all ain't finna have shit for that. Which in itself is another way of saying community outreach. Activism, political abstractions, extensions of the DNC, etc., etc., etc. There are lots of things that it could come down to and break down to. But maybe that's not the answer he's looking for. He wants a definitive, yes, I've got you in there. I've got you in checkmate. You can't find a way to explain what you actually give that is of value. But I would have to say, what have the women given to those people of value in those situations? Because each of those women have something that they gave and ensured would be upkept. Because it's an interaction between themselves and their men. Not just, hey, oh, Holmes, we finna walk down we finna walk down the Indies. Ain't nobody finna get food today. Not after what we heard on the Sandy say, bro. No. It doesn't work like that. That's not realistic. The more realistic idea is 9 women at a table are all bragging about the particular interests that they and their husbands have done the same way bitches drinking mimosas brag about their men. White bitches bragging about how her husband got a new deal and something that's going on with her kid. Latina women are talking about family and friends. The black women are getting braggadocious and being a little bit too saucy. And no matter what particular side they come from, the women that are not usually the dominators of the conversation are basically waiting for a political in where they can be able to offer something that adds to the conversation without taking away from the people that are considered to be the center of the attention. And then somebody crosses a line, and then out comes the fangs. But the things that you said, these were not positives. These were not said in the degree of, here's what we provide, here's what we do, here's our value. It was threat narrative. Don't fuck with me or I will take this away from you. Don't fuck with me or I will take this away from you. That's not what you do when you want to have a person present something for the purposes of making sure people can have good outcomes and making sure people can have actual safety degrees, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And the reason why is because it all comes back to It all comes back to what these men are providing and what these women are providing. Basically, the way these women are supposedly communicating in this context is they provide access. Anybody can provide access to anything. That's not really saying much. What does that access represent? That's the thing that we have to discuss here. That's the actual meat and potatoes that you have to get down to. If these women are saying, treat me nicely or I'll deny you access to a bank account, I'll deny you access to job opportunities, I'll deny you access to society, that is the power that women have been granted in society, because that's what society was built off of. That's that social contract. You don't fuck with me, and I won't fuck with you, but if you fuck with me, I will bring the full force of my house down on you. That's the Game of Thrones. That's what that is. While ugly, that is power structure in nature. That's hierarchy. That's patriarchy. Being more accurate, that's karyarchy. So, even while you're trying to debunk and debase what you think is an unfair position in an argument that is afforded by, quote, powerful people in society, you are still referencing the very thing that you claim shackles people, argumentatively, to the mark. And you're celebrating it as though it's something that evil should take part in. So you don't believe there's a problem with patriarchy. You believe that we don't have things that we, quote, can have black women be able to brag about. Hey guys, what are we giving our black women to be proud about? What can they say? Ray was not gonna be able to move you out of your apartment on the 28th? We don't really got shit to talk about. What are you saying? What are we talking about? Are we having a serious conversation about how we ought rule ourselves and how we ought augment ourselves in our society? Or are we having a conversation about how you feel embarrassed that you don't have a power tech job that everybody else at the table gets to brag about? Is that what you think is reasonable? Is that what you look forward to when you want to talk about what you should discuss? I'm sickened that that's the first thing you went for. Perhaps that's not what people would have noticed for what he did, but I noticed it, and it made me annoyed. Because that doesn't help anyone. You are, quite literally, stuck in a loop, stuck in a box. Because instead of thinking about how you're actually freeing yourself from the box, you're telling people, how can we better use what's in the box to further harass ourselves? That comes down to you cannot free yourself by using the master's tools. That's what that is. And granted, the masses tools, in this case is, stop using your husband and or boyfriend as a cudgel. How about you have some unity amongst your women, in this example that you've given? Moving past that. I see some different answers in the chat room. Let's move past that, continue with the question.
Earnings, yes. When you go look at earnings, black men, we do good. Regardless of what people say about us, the data shows we're doing amazing. But as a collective, what do we control? Music?
Society. Culture. Society and culture. Society, culture, and the communicative resources on what allows it, as well as the ability to communicate those thoughts intellectually, to reach multiple people beyond the bonds of class, culture, financial, and historic traits. Effectively, we are the ones that have the ability to speak directly to a culture that is transformed over time by who is being spoken to and talked about in front of a microphone. The same way that you have the ability to sit there on that camera and say, what do we provide? I have the ability to criticize you and say, well, what have you tried providing? Have you actually had any good ideas, or are you just telling me we gotta do better with no idea of what better is supposed to be? In the same way that Kai Cenat can give his opinions about, nigga, I don't know nothing about no politics. Why are you calling me Secret Service? I don't want to be involved. Ah! And of course, I showed Meat getting on a stage and getting powerbombed by a performer. Talk about some arf, 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 arf. All of that is something that allows discussions and conversations to be flown through. Certainly, that is not the most intellectual thing that he can do. But imagine if at the same time that he was to do this kind of bullshit, there was an actual brain behind I Show Speed. The same way that there was a brain behind Etika. The same way that there was a brain behind John Payne, Total Biscuit. Same way there's a brain behind me. The same way there's a brain behind Jay. Same way there's a brain behind Mahler. Same way there's a brain behind most of the people who are involved in the Fandom Menace. The same way there's a brain behind horror. Same way there's a brain behind every person in this chat room. That even when we're talking about some real cringe shit, we can actually dig into shit intellectually. All of this shit stems from people not being stupid and being able to meet each other where they are. That's probably the most important social construct that men have as a general basis, let alone black men have as a general basis. The ability to meet people intellectually where they are and treat them like they're not special. Granted, in my case, I need to do better about this. But I would not be in the position to be able to know that if I was not somebody capable of having that. And guess why I have that? Because I have a kind of person that's going to tell me, both publicly and privately, hey, you're not doing enough, or hey, you're doing this wrong, or hey, the way you're going about this isn't effective, or hey, here's some ideas, or even giving their opinion, hey, I saw you ask me a question about this, or I saw you ask people questions about this, here's how I do this. All of these things are made possible by having social interaction. And considering that black men are basically the chameleons of society, we have the ability to blend into places that other people probably would not be able to better blend into. We have the ability to present arguments and present structure to people that most people would not be able to trust, because looking at somebody like me, would you believe that'd be something that you would want me to have control over? That you want to have suggestions over? It's not like I'm working shit out for the worse and it's not going to work out for the better. But what could you expect from just a regular nigga like me? And then, when you hear me speak, when you hear me think, when you hear me communicate these things, what are you getting from that? What are we receiving from that? What is it building towards? What is it going to? What is it assisting with? What is it building for? Shit like that, shit like this. What is it helping? How is it affecting? How am I enriching? These are all things that everybody has to think about at some point in time. For whatever reason one would like to discuss it for. Just because there are some that did not discuss it, did not mean that these things stop being shit that you think about, and shit that you discuss, and shit that you argue. Even though, in my opinion, there are many that don't. Doesn't mean it's more important or that it's less important. But it does mean that the way that we think about these things are not things most people have considered and thought about. Especially considering how serious it can really get. Because if there's one thing that pisses me the fuck off, it is people's desire to say this kind of dumb shit and then turn around and say, well, bro, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? It's retarded. And I want people to change and do better than this. And it requires calling it out and saying it to its face and calling it what it is. I call spade spade. This shit's certainly a shovel. So dig yourself out of a motherfucking hole and make a better outcome.
Nope. Jewish men control that. Unlucky enough for a lot of you, we don't live in a world where you could just go walk up to a woman and take what you want. So the sexual prowess that we're known for, we're only known for it because the people who control it, women, give us access to it. What?
That's not relevant to the point that you're trying to make, but okay.
Do we control black men? I think this is a valid question, and my suggestion, I'm no voice, I'm nothing. My suggestion would be, let's take over the garbage industry. Let's control America's trash. In New York, I don't know about any other way. In New York City, do you know what it cost? At least in my neighborhood, do you know what it would cost to start a recycling business? $25,000, and that's on the higher end. $25,000 to start a recycling business. There's so many brothers in trash. Excuse my choice of words, but there's so many brothers in trash that make good money. Why can't we come together collectively? Why can't we? Imagine a world where, imagine in America, where black men control trash. We control the trash industry in America. And someone comes out and talks shit about black men, and we're like, oh, that's how it's gonna be? Okay. And for 1 week, America's trash is not picked up. What do you think will happen to that? I think every single politician will come out, get on his knees, and beg us. Because that, do you understand how quickly a politician will get voted out if their neighborhood starts to stink? But yeah, it's a very important question that we need to ask ourselves as black men. What do we control? And those of you who do things for women, what have we given our women to brag about? What have we given our women to clap back? Y'all can say all this, oh, we out-earned Mexican men, we out-earned them. Okay, we out-earned them, our women out-earned them. The women can clap back and say, if you want a roof over your head, I need you to shut the fuck up. What have we given our women to clap back with? That's a very important question we need to ask ourselves, black men. Thank you.
This is a very, very valid question. I saw this video and it got me thinking. And after I pondered on this question for a good while, a very good while, I'm like, this is a much needed question, and a question that I believe needs to go far and near. Not because, the men needs to get bashed, but because I believe this question is going to lead us to a point where we are going to, as a people, start thinking. And when you start thinking as a people, it's very good. It's very important that we are thinking as a people. And this is not me saying that we are not thinking as a people, but we can think some more. There's always room for improvement. And I feel like this question is going to create a situation where we are going to start seeing that improvement, because when people start thinking, they're like, oh yeah, maybe there is a problem. What can I do differently? What can we do differently? What steps can we take? This is how you start conversations. Again, not to bash, and I hope this is not going to happen in the comments. Please, can we be adults and not do that? Please. So it's for this reason, the reason of improving ourselves as people. That's why I want to share this video. Well, I'm going to share the very few thoughts that I have. First of all, I want to give mighty kudos to the brothers in the comment section of this video, because the way they responded to it is amazing. Usually when I come by conversations like this on the internet, sometimes they don't go too well. People get offended and they just start, doing this in the comments. But the men in these comments, like amazing men and very positive men, right? And they took on this question, and the question is doing what brother wanted it to do, and what I'm hoping is going to do here, and is going to do anywhere else the video lands. Make people start thinking, because like I said, it's from when you start thinking, that's when you start having ideas, and that's when you room for improvement to start to occur, all that good stuff, right? So I'm gonna say kudos to the men in the comments for accepting this question and being positive in his comments, right? But before I share my few thoughts, 2 cents on what I think, I want to read some of the comments.
Oh my god. Okay.
Women can clap back and say, if you want a roof over your head, I need you to shut the fuck up. What have we given our women to clap back with? That's a very important question we need to ask ourselves.
Entertainment and music would be the first immediate answer. But then again, our entertainment cycle is dog shit and trash. We are known as a group, as a delineated class, as a culture, as a group delineated culture by those who do it, We're best known for loudmouth braggarts that talk shit about other people on the internet. That's it. That's realistically what we've given them. Because when it came to finances, business, money, and retail, motherfuckers don't have the ability to keep them up as a large margin of the populace because niggas can't get through college. Niggas can't get through college because they're getting fucked over at the vocational system because we have popularized a modern culture that says that men need to get coochie rather than get a degree. I'ma say it again. We have popularized a culture where motherfuckers are being told, get some vajoozy juice, get some vagooji juice on your dick before you ever talk about what kind of money you're making. And then the woman has to validate you so you can have the permission to waste the money that you don't have to take her on a date to make her feel special so she doesn't roast you in the group chat. While at the same time, she's looking and thinking about other motherfuckers and using them in that same system with no foundational philosophy and follow through for commitment unless she decides that you're worth the commitment. That's what we gave. Now, separating me from the rest of y'all motherfuckers and then separating motherfuckers that are not responsible for the problem for everybody else, y'all niggas are responsible for exactly what you brought to yourselves and what you gave to yourselves. You wanted to be black separatists. You wanted to be black nationalists. You wanted to go your own way. You wanted to create a similar built-up society of all black everything, all black men, all black women, all black businesses, all segregated away from society, where people that are white can't use it. You wanted that, and that shit didn't work out for you. Didn't work out in fucking Africa, now did it? No, you hunted around white Danish farmers, destroyed the cropland, and then y'all motherfuckers starved up. So let's walk back to America, since clearly you want to talk to American men and treat them like they're responsible for the shit that happens in the fucking Afrikaner lands. Okay, let's talk about that. What did black men give to American black women? Again, entertainment, business, culture, and community. Most of the community leaders that lead most problems and organize shit, they are responsible for the syndication and the broadcasting of these fucking LLCs, these businesses, and these 401ks. Because realistically, the mind of a man is to organize. So they're in management. They're in leadership. They're designing shit. And if they're not in finance and leadership, they are definitely taking on a hand in activism, community outreach. They're very good at raising a message, harmonizing the message, and then trying to capitalize on the message. Most of us have to be. Some struggle with it more than others. But when it comes to controlling a part of the industry, unless you want to talk about trade work, what are we talking about? They don't need to have control of a factor of society in order to have power over somebody else. Because again, you're playing hierarchy theory, but more importantly, they don't need to have power to control someone. It's the ability to have the chance to raise an instant village. The same way that you could say an elite, Latino or Hispanic could raise an instant village of workers. You talk about it from the position of lower class people who basically make society run. But hey, that's a lot of people working in low wage jobs that could just disappear out of the fucking woodwork. So that's crazy that you didn't consider that part, considering how many people run those businesses. You want some fast food? Aw, damn, you better apologize to Pookie and Ray Ray for that comment you said last weekend. Oh, no? Then you ain't getting your 24-piece, nigga. Let's pull that to the side. Let's pull aside the Walmart workers. Let's pull aside the Michaels workers. Let's pull aside the McDonald's and the fucking Burger Kings and fast food and shit like that. And of course, the Waffle Houses. Let's pull that aside. Let's just focus on trade men. Let's focus on trade work, vocational jobs, welders, builders, architects, electrical journeymen, carpenters, the people who build the infrastructure of society, who are working those hard laboring jobs where they don't have time for themselves because they're too busy building a fucking bank account. Those men, they have power, but they don't use it because they would rather help than hurt. Because that's the first thing they have that we've given and tried to give to black women. Centered mindsets and community outreach. We have tried desperately as a group to get people to understand it's not about you. It's about us. It's about we. Why am I fighting and hating thy neighbor when I live with my neighbor? Give me some sugar. I am your neighbor. I see you daily. Why would I fight with you if I commune with you? That's what we tried to give them. Group harmony. And from the last clip, what did the black women give back to men? Collectively as a group, not individually. Specifically in general. Specifically in general. Mouth. 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 Why? Conflicting strong personalities. Some men want to lead. Some women want to be led. Which is another way of saying women wanted men to have authority and accountability, and yet still have authority and power with no accountability. Because why is a man being held accountable for something that he has no authority over? Why would you want to be accountable and have authority for something that ultimately other people, if they cause problems to it, don't have to take accountability for it? Why, in the aspect that matters, would I put myself at the mercy of someone fucking with something that I built and I have to repair, and they can just come back around, destroy that thing again, and man, this shit's so trash. Why don't you stop trashing my shit? It ain't my shit, it ain't my shit. That is the black community. Men are trying to repair themselves up from the damage that women over time have done to them as a monolith and a unit. And in the same time you want us to collectivize and activate with you as a unit, you cannot cohese yourself in that unit because you want to have control over the structure. You want to dictate how it's done. You want to dictate when it's done. You want to dictate the resources and how it's managed when it's done. But you also want to stand there and tell the people who are doing the work how that work should be done. But you can't give them a guideline for how it should be done and stick consistently as a group to that guideline. Individually, from a man to a woman. And I'm talking about a relationship. Whether it just be co-workers, or husband and wife, or business partners. I ask you, give me a list. Break it down to me. Give me a list. Give me something that I can go off of. 1 to 5. Give me a list of things you want done. Don't change the list. Keep the list the same, and I will pound this out 9 to 5 every day. If you cannot do that, you're not giving anything to the person you're working with. Because men, black men, we love organized structure. Look at the shit that I'm doing on the side. Analyze the thing that I need to find. I'll use this as a visual example. I want to find and get access to this code. This code and this code I need to use to acquire a blueprint. Where does it come from? It comes from here. What do I need in order to go do that? I need to go find where it is. I just did the resource. I got the resource. Here's the acquisition chances. Nothing I can do other than to do it. Doesn't come from anywhere else. 25% chance to get this here. And if I do the bonus requirement, an additional 5 to 25% chance to pull the mutant AA, an additional 0.5 to 3.5 of the form stabilizer, as well as a 1.5 on the normal drop. Nothing to it but to do it. Doesn't matter if I'm getting killed. Doesn't matter if I'm getting taken down. Let's go gambling. Pull lever. Pull the lever. Pull the lever. In, out. In, out. In, out. Work. 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 Pound it out. Pound it out. Pound it out. Find the resource. Acquire the resource. Now I have it. Now how do I make access to it? Where do I have to go to cash it out? Abyssal Void Fusion Reactor in the Vesper Ruins. Okay, let's find the Vesper Ruins. Vesper Ruins. Right here. What do I need for it? I need polymer shards. I need monomer shards. Oh no, I don't have enough polymer shards. Where can I find me some polymer shards? Let's go looking. Looks like I can get polymer shards over here. Looks like I can get monomer shards over here. But I need a lot of them. I need 34 pop. I got plenty of monomer, but I don't got enough polymer. So what am I going to do to get those? Well, I know exactly what to do to go get those. And now I got to go get that resource. So I can pound it out, pound it out, pound it out, pound it out, pound it out. Just so that I can get a chance to roll on that 32% Python blueprint. Let's take what I just said. Let's disseminate the shit that I just broke down into an actual structure. I work at a job. My job is I am the fry cook. Here's the orders up on the screen over on the side. Here's you in my ear at the drive-thru telling me what you need for your fucking food. Here's the front line order telling me what's going through the front line window, what they need ordered back through. Here's me laying out the patties. Here's me getting the buns ready. Here's me walking over across to the other store, getting the fryers, packing for the drive-thru. Here's me getting the shit for the front table. Here's me preparing all the other shit in the back and just hitting my hustle. Grinding. I need food down. Me, I work in a chicken. I worked in a chicken store and helped run a chicken store, as well as having the position of becoming a person who was responsible for upkeep of that chicken store. Both marinating the food, cooking the food, serving it out, packing meals, packing orders, preparing drinks. I need a full run of 8s. That means 8 pieces of chicken in each fryer. Basic standard Bojangles that I worked at had 4 to 6 fryers. That means I have 8 to 4 to 6 pieces of chicken in that fryer at any one time. Somebody tells me I'm rolling on 8 for 2 hours because I have a 200 piece coming through because the local fucking church doesn't want to cook that day. Guess what that means? My little black ass, if I have enough, is pulling those bags. Dump, 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 dump. Pack. Hey Bethany, while I'm packing this, can you please get the 10 drinks for the window order prepared? Boom. I ain't gonna do all that because she wouldn't do her job. Bethany, I didn't ask all that. Can you please do what I asked you? Boom. But I ain't gonna do that. Okay, no problem. Let me go over there and handle that problem. Basic shit. It's the same fucking thing. That's why usually most of the hardest goddamn workers that are locked the fuck in their jobs are men, if not black men. Because that's the mentality we have to have. It's not because of women, and it's not because of men. It's because if we don't put these fucking blinders on, we will explode in rage. Because what do you mean? All this shit that I had nothing to ask you for is shit you're focused on. How does that make sense to you? Did I ask you about what Bethany said about you? I don't care if she said your ass ain't fat. Do the job that we're being paid for. Let's get this shit in. Then we can talk about that later when the work is done. If anything, if there is no other purpose than what I've already said that we've given, black men have had to give the backbone and drive for leadership. And the women have not necessarily accepted it. Because they want to be independent. They don't want to live under a man. They better than a man. They doing better than men. So what you need a man for? Leave me over here. I'm going to be with my white wife. Oh, you said you need me to be able to take care of the kid? Oh, no problem, sweetie. You need me to do it? Okay. And then walk my happy back ass over on camera. Goddamn, that was so easy. It wasn't hard at all. That's what it amounts to here. That's all that is. That's the top down and the bottom, the fucking underline of the text of this argument. You want men to be a weapon. I don't want to be a weapon. I want to be a man that's appreciated. Can we start there? No? Crazy. Then, moving past that, and all this fucking yap here,
the way they responded to it is amazing. Usually when I come back conversations like this on the internet, sometimes they don't go too well. People get offended and they just start, doing this in the comments. But the men in these comments, like amazing men and very positive men, right? And that's the...
Effectively, everybody's treating it well. Everyone's treating it well because realistically he is asking a fair question. That's why I'm treating it seriously and why I'm getting passionate about what I'm saying. It is a serious problem that I had to think about it for about maybe 5 minutes before I laid out exactly how I wanted to communicate the thought. It is a problem that there isn't a ready-made thing that we can immediately pull at and look at when it comes to inspiration. But hey, prevalence and power breeds journal. And no matter how that argument can go through, it is meaningful that he asks a question like that because it sparks conversation and thought. Which ironically is another thing that black men provide.
they took on this question, and the question is doing what brother wanted it to do, and what I'm hoping it's going to do here, and is going to do anywhere else the video lands. Make people start thinking, because like I said, it's from when you start thinking, that's when you start having ideas, and that's when you room for improvement to start to occur, all that good stuff, right? So I want to say kudos to the men in the comments for accepting this question and being positive in his comments, right? But before I share my few thoughts, 2 cents on what I think, I want to read some of the comments. But brother Issa is not the owners. While on the continent for these particular industries is different because Africans are the ones who control them, but that can be said for every other industry, especially in the industries of minerals and natural resources. And even in other industries like construction.
Blah, 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 blah. We all knew that the answer was going to be entertainment. Let's not fake the fun. Get to it, girl.
Construction, for example, and find that these are just because takeovers and the question of making it instead. He has support would be what lots, say group, Nigeria, and across the continent at large, right? He's a very well-established businessman, and he has multiple subsidiaries under his Dangote Group
Communist
company. So
Communist group.
man is a big name on the her own oil. We have been sending the oil out and then back.
Communist group that has business oil tycoons that controls and works in hand with the extremists that led to the downturn of a lot of famine in the area, as well as with the ANC government. Actual Stasi.
Finished products. Insane, I know, but that's what the country has been doing for years. So what Dangote did was he decided to build a refinery. The situation in natural was like he requested puppets to all the Nigerians to be built. The refinery dusted, which right now back at the largest did for that. They went to do what Massa said and buy for Massa refined oil.
Lord have mercy, she's just going on about bigotry and race. Okay. So, what do black men provide? Black men try to provide advice, they try to provide leadership, they try to provide stability, they try to provide calm, they try to provide work ethic. And it can be expected that it's not reciprocated or accepted by the women that it's communicated to. The black men have tried to communicate this to the black women. The black women have chosen to call them dusties, nerds, soft guy era, ew, disgusting, and all this other shit. We divested. We went to other races that chose to take us, and there are power couples being born from it. The black women got jealous, and now a man comes along saying, what do we, black men, provide the women to use as a cudgel in the game of social hierarchy? And I have to say to you, not my fucking problem. I don't want to be involved. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. That's all that amounts to. Blah. I believe that actually does it for here, chat. I have no more new news for you. I have no more new news for you. My child is being rambunctious. Boy, today's episode. Some of this shit I would not have expected to come up on the topic, but hey, that's why we dying for a single player Carl Street, boys. Any final thoughts that anybody want to let me know about before I conclude today? No, yes, maybe so. That's wonderful. Again, if you like content like this, please consider throwing on your hood, joining my Negro bin, and becoming a Carlist, because you too can become a member of the United Negro Carl Foundation, because a Carl is a terrible thing to waste. And if you would like to have the ability to become a member, please consider joining the Discord. Consider subscribing. Consider following, liking on all the platforms where Carl and Carl-based accessories can be found. It is free. It is free. Consider donating. Consider putting $1 in the hat. Grain of sand to the movement. All I could really ever ask for. Shout outs, mentions, whatever you feel like you're able to do, you do your best. And again, if you would like to become a member of the Discord, all you gotta do is go find it. It is in the description box below in the video. Ideas that you want to pause it, drop those inside of Podcast Ideas, Body Politic Gaming, or maybe even if you have no other place to post them into CCM, or post them into the Relaxation Lounge. And we will sort that out and I will get to you. I am Carl. I am leaving. I will see y'all after 5 to 6. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.